This rich playboy, Rick Kid, is named Bowie Kim. By luck, he transmigrated back to the past, and the system granted him a ridiculously huge amount of startup capital. On top of that, the conditions for him to make money were insanely bizarre. If he made a profit, he could only pocket 1%. But however much he lost, he could pocket all of it. So this guy made up his mind to find every possible way to make his company suffer massive losses. The sooner it went bankrupt, the better. But for some damn mysterious reason, the more he tried to sabotage things, the more massive profits he made. Let's find out together what the reason is. With tons of jaw-dropping, ridiculous situations, this super hot and hilarious story is guaranteed to give us moments of laughing until we fall off our chairs with this unlucky guy. The story begins in a towering skyscraper, as tall as Landmark 81. During an extremely grand press conference, the female reporter starts giving an introduction. This is Bowie Kim, CEO of Dangdat Group, a top figure in the business world. His company is worth hundreds of billions, with operations spanning the internet, games, hardware, dining, lifestyle, cultural media, and more, changing many aspects of people's lives. For a CEO like this, everyone would assume he must be cold, ruthless, decisive, and merciless to achieve such success, right? But after a recent interview with Bowie Kim, also known as the best boss in the world, a genius investor, a game production prodigy, someone with an effortless, hands-off management talent, and an accurate eye for the development trends of various industries, everyone felt their worldview had been refreshed. At this moment, facing the reporter, Bowie Kim was so miserable he could not even cry. I'm really not some business genius. The secret to my success can be summed up in 2 words: damn outrageous. My original goal was simply to lose all 50,000 yuan. After hearing that, the female reporter immediately replied, "Look, this is the life of a business genius. So humble and sensible. I'm totally speechless." Sure enough, when someone is successful, whatever the hell they say sounds right. Ha ha ha. The scene shifts to the past, quite a long time earlier. It is now 2009 at Handong University in Jingzhou. Suddenly, a voice rings out. "Brother Kim, wake up. We're going to be late for class. Today is the vice dean's class, and he's taking attendance." Our Bowie Kim wakes up from his dream, rubs his eyes, and answers in a daze, "What the hell? Class? Didn't I rent an apartment? Who ran into my room?" As soon as he opens his eyes, he sees the face of his best friend, Ma Duong, wearing an absolutely infuriating grin. At the same time, Ma Duong says, "Ha ha ha, sleeping like a pig, huh bro?" Then he mischievously dashes toward the door and adds, "Hurry up. If the vice dean catches you, you're screwed." After hearing this, our Bowie Kim freezes like a log, completely unable to understand what is going on. Then he mutters in shock, "What the hell is this? My head hurts." In the next instant, he becomes fully awake, breaks free from his salted fish state, and sits bolt upright in extreme surprise. "Wait, isn't this my university dorm room? The vice dean's class? Attendance? Then this is my freshman year of university." Then he clutches his head, his face as dark as the bottom of a burnt pot, and sighs in disbelief, "Oh damn, it's 2009. Did I transmigrate back 10 years into the past?" Unable to believe it, he immediately pinches his own cheek to see whether this is a dream, but the harder he pinches, the more it hurts. It's over. It hurts so much. This really isn't a dream. While he is still completely panicking and has no idea what to do, a transparent, glowing screen suddenly appears before Bowie Kim's eyes, and lines of text quickly display. Wealth conversion system connecting to host. Binding successful. One shock after another leaves him utterly dazed. Suddenly, the system announces again, "Host Bowie Kim, please read the system user guide." Bowie Kim is scared out of his wits, but still tries reading it. Wealth conversion system. Current system capital, 50,000. Personal assets, 443. Wealth conversion rules. At the end of a certain period, the system will provide the host with a certain amount of system capital, which may only be used for company business activities. It cannot be wasted. If it is spent for personal purposes, a warning will be issued and the funds cannot be transferred. After a period of time, settlement will be carried out. Depending on the level of profit or loss, it will be converted into personal assets at a set ratio, which you may freely spend. After reading it, our Bui Kim immediately laughs with delight. Haha. Sure enough, after transmigrating, there has to be a system. This trick is way too old already. Then the system gives another notification. Profit conversion ratio, 100 to 1. Loss conversion ratio, 1 to 1. Bui Kim immediately understands the function of this system. At the same time, he says, "Oh, damn, nice. Not only do you provide me with funds, you even give me a share of the money? You really are a VIP level system." Although system capital and personal assets are both money, they are two completely different concepts. That 50,000 yuan is system capital. According to the system's explanation, this money can only be used for business activities. But if all the system capital is lost, then at a 1-to-1 ratio, that loss can be converted into personal assets. Losing money is the same as making money. Ha ha ha, I really am too smart. Then our Bui Kim stands in an extremely imposing pose, laughing wildly as he shouts, "Ha ha, my future is bright and limitless." Suddenly, the system notifies him again. Final step. Please name your company. Click here to enter. Bui Kim thinks for a moment, then finally types, Dang Dat Technology Network Company, Limited. This name means rising rapidly with the wind. In other words, he hopes this Dang Dat company will quickly fail miserably. Haha. Then our Bui Kim carefully reads the next notification. Registration of Dang Dat Technology Network Company, Limited complete. Next settlement time, 14 days later. If no product has been released, the settlement time will be postponed. After reading it, he lifts his chin and thinks to himself, "Okay, nice. No matter how I lose money, it'll be easy to make cash. So the next thing I need to do is turn the system capital to 0 and turn my personal assets from 443 yuan into 50,443 yuan. Ha ha ha. I have to think of a way to lose as much as possible. What should I do?" Then he holds a roundtable meeting in his own head, and all 5 main members are our Bui Kim himself. This guy really is unbelievably crazy. The first battle meeting for losing money officially begins. Who wants to speak first? A guy wearing glasses beside him immediately raises his hand. "Oh, please, Glasses Bui Kim, share your opinion." Among the system's specific rules, there are more than 200 articles. It can be said that all illegal activities are forbidden, so there aren't many directions to choose from. The system clearly won't let us exploit loopholes to cheat. Otherwise, we'll be severely punished. This world isn't much different from the original world. It's just that the pace of technological development is a little behind. In addition, copyright awareness is also relatively poor. Suddenly, another Bui Kim sitting opposite him, holding a game console, speaks up. Technology will definitely develop, and copyright will become important. In that case, what do you all think about making games? The gaming industry burns a lot of money, and if you just change the gameplay a little, it's very easy to die. In fact, industries with fixed assets can still sell those assets after bankruptcy, but in the gaming industry, once you're dead, you're dead. There's absolutely nothing to sell. Besides, I have memories from 10 years in the future. As long as I stay far away from games that can make money, it'll be fine. Ha ha ha. After hearing this, the whole group of Bui Kims immediately agrees. Okay, very good. Step 1, design a game. Step 2, go bankrupt and transfer all system capital into personal assets. Step 3, use the money to go drinking, partying, and messing around. It is decida. Let's do it. After finishing his thoughts, our Bui Kim feels like he is floating on clouds, imagining a dreamlike future. Once he earns the money, he can live it up, party, chase girls, and all kinds of things. Bui Kim, will soon become a famous tycoon in the big gaming world. Once he decides, he immediately gets to work that very day. But after sitting at the computer for several hours, our Bui Kim feels extremely discouraged. He never expected that coming up with a game by himself would be this troublesome. Luckily, there is the extra support website. I only need to buy game assets there, then use the official editing tools to design it. Finally, once it passes review, it can be released. I just need to spend 50,000 yuan on a resource site, then make a garbage game that nobody wants to buy. That way, after 2 weeks, I won't have a single coin left. Hahaha. This is as easy as pie. Okay, let's start designing. Basic driving simulation model, 20,000 yuan. It comes with a car whose interior structure looks pretty VIP. Desert highway map, 23,000 yuan. Why is it so expensive? But it's exactly what I want. Next is sound effects, 6,000 yuan. Deal. With the final 1,000 yuan, I'll buy a ranking function, and that's perfect. Exactly 50,000 yuan. But something still seems to be missing. All right, I have to make the players so angry it's like they're eating level 7 spicy noodles. I'll make them suffer like hell. Ahaha. Then I'll add this. Players have to drive for more than 8 hours on a road to clear the level. At the same time, every short while, there will be a fork in the road, so they can't just leave it running. I really am a genius. 2 hours later, our Bowie Keem has finished designing it. He says, this seems pretty okay. It'll definitely pass review. In that case, let me test it. But as soon as he enters the game, he discovers that the game he made is so ugly it practically blinds him. At this moment, his face darkens and his jaw drops in disbelief. What the hell is this? This lousy game is even more disgusting than I imagined. If anyone can play this for 8 hours, I'll bow to him as my master. But with a crappy, nonsensical game like this, there's no way people won't curse it to death. If this game can make money, I'll eat my fingernails. Ha ha ha. Come on, come fight it, my 500 brothers. With such a brain-dead game, I'm definitely losing money. Ha ha ha. The scene shifts to that evening in our Bowie Keem's dormitory. At this moment, all 4 guys are playing some game and cursing nonstop. Damn it, you crazy idiot. Can you stick with the team? Why do you keep soloing like an idiot and dying? The guy who looks like an addict is Ma Duong. Finding it strange, he asks, Brother Keem, you've really got guts. You didn't even go to class. While the team fight is raging, Bowie Keem immediately replies, hurry up and eat, Ma Duong. Every time we form a team, you're never there. The guy in the side lane is dead. Do you even know how to play games? We're playing as a team. What are you doing fighting alone? 3 against 1, and you still can't win? Great, we lost, damn it. I killed 11 and assisted twice, and we still lost. This is so bitter, it's like a pack of instant noodles. Over here, Ma Duong, who got 2 kills, 3 deaths, and 2 assists, also replies, Brother Keem, don't just focus on yourself. You have to carry too. After hearing this, our Bowie Keem freezes like a stone statue, completely unable to understand his logic. 2 kills, 3 deaths, and 2 assists, and you still dare to express an opinion? Ma Duong, you are the burden dragging down the entire team, and you're still mocking me? Then Ma Duong slurps down his cup noodles and replies, I already tried my best. I worked really hard. This Ma Duong is the kind of person who works actively and seriously, but his grades are terrible, and his gaming skills are unbelievably bad. In every way, he is not tall where he should be, and where he is low, he is extremely low. Then the group starts climbing ranks again. Another match. Tonight, we have to climb from bronze to silver. Bowie Keem sees that these guys play like trash, so he cannot be bothered to keep playing. I'm out. I'm sleepy. I want to sleep early. After saying that, he flops onto the bed with a thud, extremely comfortable. Then he takes out his phone and thinks to himself, what's there to be sad about losing a game? In 2 weeks, once 50,000 yuan is in my hands, I'll be so happy I'll faint like a turkey. Ha ha ha. Then, in his mind, he thinks of laptops, arcade machines, high-end gear, and all kinds of things. This guy's level of fantasy is really something. Suddenly, while scrolling through TopTop, he discovers a video. Next, we'll be entering our segment, Exposing Trash Games. If you viewers think this episode is good, please like, share, and all that good stuff. The scene shifts to a guy named Vu Tan in a rented room. It turns out this guy is someone who makes view-baiting videos exposing garbage games, and he is a fan of the famous master Kyo Luong, nicknamed Master Kyo. At this moment, he is extremely gloomy because nobody cares about his game-bashing videos. This won't do. This week's video about trash games has nothing special. The click-through rate isn't high. This is really boring. At this rate, I definitely won't get any ad money this month. Then where am I supposed to get money to take girls out? While he is depressed as hell, he suddenly finds the game our Bowie Keem made. Oh damn, Lonely Desert Highway? What kind of bizarre game is this? The selling price is only 1 yuan? Its description is a simulated driving journey that reflects on life. Impressive, impressive. Perfect timing, since I'm feeling bored with life. Then let me see how a 1 yuan game helps people reflect on life. Ha ha ha. Once he decides, this chubby guy immediately enters the game to try it. A low-quality desert map and effects that look like crap. The controls feel stiff too. This sound is pretty creepy, but for someone who has seen countless trash games, these things are completely normal. There's nothing left to say about any of it. But I've been driving for so long and nothing has changed. Damn it, I drove for another 10 minutes and still nothing is different. Who am I? What am I doing? What does this game want me to do? What the hell is going on? Aside from driving and turning the wheel at a few curves, this game has nothing at all. Oh wait, isn't this very similar to my life? Always calm and smooth, without any waves at all. After playing for quite a while, the electric kettle behind him suddenly starts whistling. No, I need to pause for a bit. I'll go make a cup of noodles, then continue studying it. Damn it, why can't I pause? What kind of weird game is this? Then his hand shakes, he loses focus, and he crashes straight into a rock wall. Seeing this, his eyes practically pop out from anger. Motherfucker, play again. I already drove for half an hour, and now you want me to start over? You're way too shameless. Okay, great. I found the garbage part of this game. After I finish eating, I'll make a video exposing it right away. Ha 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 ha. The next morning, our Bowie Keem immediately sees that chubby guy's bashing video. The detailed content of the video is, for the entire 8-hour driving journey, you are forced to constantly look ahead, because every few minutes there will be a curve. If you fail to turn in time, then sorry, you lose and must start over from the beginning. And the magical part that shocked me the most is that the ending of the game is only a line of text mocking me. Congratulations, you have successfully wasted 8 hours of your life. That's right, this is a game that makes people reflect on life. It successfully made me fall into deep thought and realize many things. This game is truly excellent. You absolutely have to play it. Underneath, there are also countless comments from viewers. I watched the entire route without skipping, and now I feel like I'm also starting to think about the meaning of life. Another person comments, I already bought it. I believe I will definitely be able to find the meaning of life in the desert. A comment from Mint Girl says, buy it now, buy it now. Anyone who doesn't buy it isn't human. Then a comment from On the Best says, for just 1 yuan, you can reflect on life. Even the dumbest idiot can see that this is extremely damn reasonable. After reading all this, our Bowie Keem clutches his head in misery, completely unable to understand. What the hell is this? Why did my game get put on a trash game exposure segment? And why is the reaction so intense? This is complete nonsense. Save me, save me. Then he has a flash of inspiration and angrily clacks away at the keyboard, replying to those dang dat game viewers. I am the creator of this game. I deliberately made this terrible game to disgust people. Everyone don't buy it. It isn't worth it. Creator, don't lose heart. We really like this game. At this moment, our Bowie Keem is practically crying like a puppy. Someone please tell me. There must be something wrong with their brains. Are you people crazy, or am I the crazy one? I made such a trash game, yet they took it and turned it into a top review video, and the response is still this lively. How is that possible? While the young man was still bewildered, the system had already announced the settlement. The profit-sharing ratio was 100-to-1. The details would be displayed immediately. Host information, Bowie Keem. Height, 1.78 meters. Weight, 85 kilograms. Age, 19. Zodiac sign, Scorpio. Company, dang dat. Current system funds, 125,463 yuan. Profit, 75,463 yuan. Current personal assets, 153 yuan. Adding 754 yuan for the host, total personal assets are now 907 yuan. After reading it, our boy Kim nearly coughed up blood. Damn it, the 50,000 yuan of capital he had firmly held in his hands was all gone. With the situation this dire, he immediately summoned an emergency meeting inside his mind. He never could have imagined that this garbage game would actually sell for over 200,000 yuan. After deducting the platform's cut, the company still made more than 70,000 yuan in profit. Then bespectacled Bowie Kim added, but based on the profit-to-personal asset conversion ratio, we only earned 700 yuan. Another Bowie Kim lifted his cup of coffee and calmly pointed out, there's no point dwelling on what's already happened. The problem now is how we're going to spend all the system funds before the next settlement. Hearing this, another Bowie Kim slapped the table and suggested, can we find someone to help? Then the discussion became as noisy as a bunch of fishmongers arguing at the market. Hey, let me suggest something. We can find someone who fails at everything and bring him into work for us. Right. We'll pay him a salary to burn through some of the funds. You're absolutely right. With a person like that, won't the pace of bankruptcy speed up dramatically? Ha. But the question was, who should they ask? One Bowie Kim slyly replied, isn't there someone perfectly suitable right by our side? That's right. His specialty is being the deadweight of the class. The things he's messed up have always far outnumbered the things he's accomplished. He's exactly the talent we need. It's none other than Ma Duong. Ha. Speak of the devil, and he appears. Suddenly, Ma Duong spoke up. I brought food back for you. Our Bowie Kim immediately smiled from ear to ear and accepted it at once, saying, thank you so much, Ma Duong. With you here, what major undertaking could possibly fail? You are my hope. Ma Duong froze on the spot, completely unable to understand whether this guy had just gotten high or why he was acting so crazy. All right. Are you going insane from hunger or what? A while later, the two brothers immediately headed to a nearby tavern for a few drinks, so they could talk more easily. As Ma Duong held skewers in both hands and stuffed his face, Bowie Kim secretly thought, right now, I have a system fund pool of 300,000 yuan. Hiring one employee shouldn't be too much, right? Then Ma Duong found it strange and asked, Brother Kim, why did you suddenly invite me out to eat? Did you make a fortune or something? Hearing this, Bowie Kim felt as miserable as a cockroach and held his head as he replied, huh, right, I made a little bit of money. Then he quietly opened the system panel to take a look. The system had added 174,536 yuan to his funds. His current funds were now 300,000 yuan, while his personal assets were still 907 yuan. Ma Duong did not care about worldly matters at all and only kept eating and drinking to his heart's content. So good. Grilled chicken wings are my favorite. On this side, our Bowie Kim picked up a can of Coke, his heart aching as if it were being cut by a knife, tears streaming down his face. Damn it, after working so hard for so long, my personal assets are only 900 yuan in the end. Then he calmed down and thought to himself, but after every settlement, the system funds seem to reset to a fixed amount. If they're below that number, the system will replenish them. The next settlement is in 1 month. This time, I absolutely have to think of a way to spend all 300,000 yuan. On this side, Ma Duong had no idea what he was brooding over, so he asked, Brother Kim, why aren't you eating? What are you spacing out for? Bowie Kim replied, recently, I made a game on my own, but I'm short on manpower. Are you interested? Hearing this, the young man was utterly shocked. Whoa, making games. That costs a lot of money. Where'd you get that from? At this moment, young Bowie Kim immediately switched into actor mode. Since things have come to this, I won't hide it anymore. Actually, I'm the son of a wealthy family. My family gave me 300,000 yuan. Is that enough? After hearing this, Ma Duong's face turned as green as a lime. What? That much money? Meanwhile, Bowie Kim secretly felt delighted. Ha. Did he actually believe it? Kids really are easy to fool. Ma Duong then asked further, "Then are you good at art? Do you know programming?" Bui Kim replied coldly, "I don't know anything." "So what? Can't we just spend money to buy assets online and find professionals to do it?" Ma Duong then said, "Brother Kim, but we don't understand anything about game design. If that 300,000 yuan vanishes without a trace when the time comes, I'd really feel sorry to you." Hearing this, our Bui Kim became so frustrated that he secretly thought, "Damn it, I never expected Ma Duong's conscience to be the real obstacle. No, I refuse to believe I can't trick him." Then he put on an air of coolness and said, "Do you know the game Lonely Desert Highway? That stupid game that's been really popular lately, right? What about it?" Bui Kim immediately replied smugly, "I made it." The bowl-cut young man had just taken a sip of Coke, and when he heard this, he spat it all out on the spot. "Huh? That ridiculous game was made by you? Not bad, Brother Kim. I never expected you to have such talent for game design. For that game to become so popular, you really are a genius. In that case, okay, I'll go all in with you. You know me. Although I don't have any particular strengths, I'm very reliable. Then I'll go to the bookstore right now and buy a few specialized books to study. Don't worry, I definitely won't drag you down." As he spoke, the young man dashed away like a gust of wind. Bui Kim had no idea why this guy could be so dumb, yet act so formidable. Wait, actually, there's no need to buy specialized books. Study? What is this? Ma Duong is being so serious. Could he actually have ability? Is it really okay for me to drag him onto the team? A few hours later, the young man practically carried an entire bookshelf back home. "Hey, Brother Kim, I'm back." Seeing this, our Bui Kim froze for 100 seconds, completely unable to understand what was happening. "What the hell? Why are there so many books, man?" Then Ma Duong set the pile of books down with a loud thud. Then he immediately picked up several extremely ridiculous books and said excitedly, "I saw they were on sale, so I bought a few dozen at once." After seeing them, Bui Kim rolled his eyes, his face turning as dark as a dog's snout as he thought, "What the hell is this? You even thought of the possibility of shoulder and neck pain, hair loss, and baldness? But the biggest problem programmers face isn't this stuff. It's dying from overwork. Besides, we're not even programming." But outwardly, he put on an act and said, "Good, good. As expected, I didn't choose the wrong person. I was right to pick you." Hearing this, Ma Duong replied happily, "Haha, then that's great. I'll start reading from Advanced Programming Fundamentals. Damn, there's so much content. I seem to recognize every word, but when they're put together, I have no idea what they mean." On this side, Bui Kim secretly thought, "Looking at this pile of books he bought, I can't say they're completely useless, but saying they're useful feels too sinful." Then he spoke up, "Hey, Ma Duong, we're doing design, not writing code. Besides, technology develops quickly. Half the content in these books is already outdated." After hearing this, Ma Duong was so angry that his face turned purple. "Damn it, now I know why they were discounted. Then what do we do? Discounted books can't be returned." Bui Kim also replied, "It's fine. Just skim through these books. They'll have at least some effect. Oh, right, the company will reimburse you." Hearing this, Ma Duong immediately felt delighted. "Ha, I can even get reimbursed? That's great. Okay, then I'll read right away." Once he said it, he did it. The young man eagerly climbed onto the bed and started reading. But only 5 minutes later, he rolled over and fell asleep like a pig. Seeing this, our Bui Kim slapped the table. Then 2 streams of tears flowed like springs as he secretly thought, "Excellent, excellent. His attitude deserves 100 points, but his ability is 0 points. This is exactly the employee I need most. The only pity is that of this kind of young talent. I only know Ma Duong. If I had a few more people, I'd go bankrupt in no time. Forget it. Next, I should determine the new project and think of a way to spend all this 300,000 yuan." A while later, our Bui Kim held a whole pile of colorful cards in his hands. Seeing this, Ma Duong rubbed his eyes in confusion and asked, "Huh? You want to make a card game?" With a cheerful face, our Bui Kim replied, "That's right. We need to make a card game with a Three Kingdoms theme. I've already bought the game template from an asset website. Ma Duong, wearing a yellow shirt, then climbed down from the bed and said, "Brother Keem, did you see that the game Three Kingdoms 3Q is doing pretty well? So you want to copy it? I heard that a lot of people are making card games right now. Also, Three Kingdoms IPs are everywhere now. Just looking through the top 10 rankings, at least 5 of them have Three Kingdoms in their names." Hearing this, our Bui Keem secretly thought with delight, "Ha ha ha, I just love running straight into the line of fire. Since card games are popular, I have to make a card game. Since Three Kingdoms 3Q is popular, I'll also make a Three Kingdoms theme. With so many works of the same type competing on the same battlefield, my work will definitely sink into the crowd. This time, losing money is guaranteed." Then he immediately summoned a meeting inside his head. Who wants to speak first? Bespectacled Bowie Keem immediately raised his hand. Okay, please let Bespectacled Bowie Keem share his opinion. In terms of payment, Three Kingdoms 3Q is quite strict. It's very different from previous card games, which is why it became so popular. After hearing this, another Bowie Keem holding a cup of coffee added, "Then our game will sell for 10 yuan, and after that, there'll be nothing special at all. They're guaranteed to curse us to pieces." That's right. We have to go against that approach. We'll make it so those whales want to spend money, but have nowhere to spend it. Then the whole group excitedly threw out ideas one after another. Very well said. We'll set the price at 10 yuan as a one-time purchase before they can play. Right. And after buying the game, the shop will only sell one permanent membership card priced at 30 yuan. With spending options that low, it'll definitely be hard for them to pay even if they want to. At this moment, the 5 imaginary Bowie Keems pictured themselves standing around a round table, all with extremely sly and delighted expressions. Inside the vision were players cursing loudly. "Damn it, what a trash game. Why can't I buy anything? This game really is ridiculously stupid. My 10 yuan. I'm so pissed. Give me my money back." A short while later, our Bowie Keem called Ma Duong over to discuss things. "I've already bought the game template. Take a look. It has all kinds of functions like checkpoints, sweeping, and competitive play." After looking at it, Ma Duong scratched his head, completely dazed. "Whoa, so this is a game template. But wait, just this much cost 100,000 yuan. On this side, Bowie Keem was secretly thinking, "Unfortunately, it only cost 100,000. That's too cheap. Even if it were 150,000, I would have bought it." Then he added, after buying the template, "Next we'll add art assets, such as the interface, battle effects, character cards, and so on." Then Ma Duong asked, "Then how much are we planning to spend on character assets?" Bowie Keem coldly raised his hand and replied, "I plan to spend 30,000 on sound effects and a little over 10,000 on other expenses. The remaining 160,000. Then he slapped the table with a powerful bang and declared firmly, "All 160,000 will be invested into character assets." On this side, Ma Duong was so shocked he nearly wet himself. Damn, what's wrong with him? Then our Bowie Keem picked up a stack of documents, handed it to Ma Duong, and said, "I've arranged everything properly. Here, take a look. The character system, the effects too. Add these things in." Hearing this, young Ma Duong broke out in a cold sweat and replied, "Huh? Character requirement sheets? Brother Keem, are you joking? Oh no, I've only watched the Three Kingdoms through movies. There are a lot of people in it I haven't even figured out yet. If I don't do it well." Before he could finish speaking, Bowie Keem had already patted the young man on the shoulder and said cheerfully, "It's fine. I believe in you. The images of our Three Kingdoms characters need to be different and innovative." After hearing this, Ma Duong accepted it too. "Okay, then fine. I'll do my best and try." Bowie Keem also raised his chin and replied craftily, "Do your best. You can definitely do it." At this moment, he secretly thought, "If you knew all the Three Kingdoms characters by heart, I'd be even less comfortable handing this task to you." Juste relax. The specific character images will depend on the artist's design. Right now, you only need to provide a direction. But remember, they must be different. The more ridiculous, the better. Meanwhile, Ma Duong was holding his head, utterly lost. Damn it, this is bad. I don't have any ideas at all. A while later, Ma Duong asked, Hey, Brother Keem, can I turn Guan Yu into a dragon? Bowie Keem immediately said okay. Then, after some more time, Brother Keem, can I turn Ma Chao into a horse? Brother Keem, can I turn Zhou Tsong into a dragon maiden? Brother Keem, can I turn Lu Ming into a lowly? Good grief, this young man was truly hopeless. But no matter how terrible the young man's ideas were, our Bowie Keem agreed with and approved all of them. Then he secretly thought, ha. As expected, I didn't choose the wrong person. Zhou Tsong as a dragon maiden, Lu Ming as a lowly. Just thinking about it already feels so absurd, ridiculous, and disgusting. If the popular game Three Kingdoms 3Q uses chibi versions for its characters, that proves the chibi style is liked by many people. Then I must go even harder into a realistic style, taking the path that makes people hate it to the bone. Ha. This artist, named Nguyen Quang Kien, looks decent. His representative works are all in chibi style, so there's a good chance he isn't good at realistic style. Okay, settled. A ridiculous proposal, plus a rookie artist who isn't good at realism. There's no way the Three Kingdoms fans won't curse us into the ground. Add in a template with no innovation, a 10 yuan one-time purchase before playing, and a 30 yuan permanent membership card. If anyone plays such a stupid game, I'll kneel to them. Ha. A few days later, in the cafeteria of Handong University, Bowie Keem was focused on reading a trial report, while Ma Duong was so nervous that he could barely eat. In our Bowie Keem's heart, he was thinking, excellent. This thing is extremely simple. Writing it is the same as not writing it. In my evaluation, it can be summed up in one word, bad. Suddenly, he said excitedly, As expected of my brother, you're far too reliable. If it were me, I definitely couldn't have written this. Aside from the names and a few identifying features, they really are completely different from the Three Kingdoms characters. Truly top tier. After hearing this, the young man in the yellow shirt actually believed him. Then that's great. But Brother Keem, I have a risky idea. Can we turn all the Three Kingdoms generals into women? That would be even more amazing. Ha. After hearing this, our Bowie Keem felt as if he had been struck by lightning. No, absolutely not. Ma Duong froze for 100 seconds, stiff as a cue stick. Why not? You said they needed a total transformation. Then Bowie Keem put on an extremely crafty expression. Well, that would make the characters lose their distinctive features. That was what he said out loud, but in his heart he was secretly thinking, more importantly, doing that could very well make it popular. I be doomed. Then he happily added, Your current proposal is already very good. Ma Chao is half man, half horse, and Guan Yu is a dragon. They're even easier to recognize. After hearing this, the young man completely believed it. Oh, so that's how it is. I understand. Then our Bowie Keem smiled brightly and said, When you go back to the dorm later, transfer this content onto the computer. I'll discuss it with the artist. At the same time, he secretly thought, luckily Ma Duong's brain is a little dumb and he's easy to manipulate. That noon, at Magic City University of Finance and Economics, in the dormitory of the Fine Arts Department, these three were the artists whom our Bowie Keem had contacted. The long-haired one was named Nguyen Quang Kien, a student in the Fine Arts Department of the University of Finance and Economics. The two friends standing behind him were also extremely nervous as they asked, So, do we have work now? What does the client require? Quang Kien then waved his hand, signaling for them to get lost and let him perform. I'm talking to the client. You guys step back a little. Whether we eat meat or drink porridge over the next few months depends entirely on this job. Then the price negotiation between young Nguyen Quang Kien and Bowie Keem began. An extremely grand imagined scene unfolded just like this. Quang Kien spoke first and asked, How many pieces do you need? Do you have any specific requirements? Bowie Keem immediately replied, An artistic style. No chibi version needed. As for the rest, you can decide. There are 50 characters in total, with a set of 4 original illustrations for each character, making 200 pages altogether. After hearing that, the young man was completely stunned. At the same time, he thought to himself, what the hell is this? All my representative works are chibi, yet the very first thing you ask is that you do not need a chibi version. Then Nguyen Quang Kien replied, sure. The price for one set is 2,000, okay? I know this price may seem a little high for a new artist like me, but don't worry about my skills. They're absolutely first-rate. When it comes to drawing, I'm as reliable as homemade cooking. After hearing that, Bowie Kim thought to himself, 2,000 for one set. So each page is only 500. When am I ever going to spend all the money? No, absolutely not. Then he spoke up and argued back. I don't think this price is appropriate. On his side, Nguyen Quang Kien also explained his position. Honestly, this is already the lowest price I can offer. Bowie Kim then replied, since this time we're asking for a complete transformation of the character style, the difficulty is quite high. Furthermore, our designer doesn't understand the art side very well, so the requirements are rather vague. Then, all of a sudden, he slammed his hand on the table, raised 3 fingers, and declared loudly, considering the increased workload in this area, I think a price of 3,000 yuan per set is more reasonable. After hearing that, Nguyen Quang Kien snapped the pen in his hand on the spot. He thought Bowie Kim must have lost his mind to say something so absurd. Holy crap, he had actually added a full 50% on top of the price he quoted. Was this the legendary kind of client? Then Bowie Kim continued. This is the character requirement sheet. You can take a look. After Nguyen Quang Kien finished reading it, he froze stiff. What the heck is this? Your requirement sheet is way too short and insane. This will be very difficult for me to draw. There isn't any clear standard at all. On this side, Bowie Kim immediately replied, it's fine. I have complete trust in your skill. Don't worry. When the time comes, whatever you draw is what we'll use. We definitely won't ask you to revise it again and again. You can clip this part of what I said and keep it as evidence, or, if you think it's necessary, we can write it into the contract too. Nguyen Quang Kien was hit by one surprise after another. He held his head, utterly baffled. Then that really won't be necessary. All right, let's sign the electronic contract now. Bowie Kim agreed at once, and afterward, he was so delighted he almost shouted in joy. It's all settled. Meanwhile, the young man Ma Duong was sleeping like a dead pig, drooling away and completely uninterested in worldly affairs. Then Bowie Kim started thinking to himself, not a single cent will be spent on marketing. Ideally, the fewer people who know about this game, the better. Next is buying sound effects, military uniforms, weapons, and so on. Finally, I'll keep 10,000 yuan for emergencies. The scene switched to the artist Nguyen Quang Kien. At this moment, he was waving his hand and calling his buddies over. Hurry, hurry. Call the others too. I finished negotiating the job. After those young men finished looking, their eyes widened in extreme surprise. Holy crap. 3,000 yuan for 4 pages? That's insanely good. Exactly. As long as they pay, we'll draw anything. For this price, even if they ask me to hold my nose and draw chibi, I do it. Nguyen Quang Kien then said, we're not drawing chibi this time. The client specifically said they don't need a chibi version. Any other style is fine. After hearing that, the red-haired young man's jaw dropped in shock. I remember all the works you advertised as representative pieces were chibi. Yet the client specifically said they don't need chibi? Is his brain waterlogged or something? Coming to you for that? Nguyen Quang Kien was so angry that he immediately cursed back. Shut up. The man has good taste. What I hate most is drawing chibi. Nowadays, mobile games are all popularizing chibi characters, so I had no choice but to take chibi commissions. I only did it to make a living. Then, with an extremely serious expression, the young man said, now I don't need to draw chibi anymore. I finally have a chance to show my talent. Holy crap, it was over. Our Bowie Kim had run into another true master. This time, even wanting to lose money would be hard. Then Nguyen Quang Kien continued. If we want to make a breakthrough, we need an epic style. But the most important part of an epic style is the character design. In other words, the more the designs deviate from ordinary humans, the better. After hearing that, one guy crossed his arms and immediately chimed in. Strictly speaking, ordinary Three Kingdoms games don't suit this style. Nguyen Quang Kien also replied, but this requirement sheet has completely transformed the Three Kingdoms character images, and that happens to fit an epic tone perfectly. That's the second key point. Don't worry, I'll design and draft the characters. You guys help me finish them. Finally, I'll complete the polishing. As long as we grasp the main direction, the style definitely won't go off track. Once everyone understood clearly, they replied, all right, let's get started. In any case, Party A is paying. Let's give it a try. If this style isn't well received, Party A will be the one losing money. After hearing that, Nguyen Quang Kien replied excitedly, but if it blows up, maybe we can even start our own company after graduation. So we have to work hard and do this well. Okay then. Let's do it according to the highest standards. We must pour all our talent into this and push ourselves to the peak of fame. The whole group cheered and agreed at once. And so, 3 weeks passed. Our handsome and romantic artist Nguyen Quang Kien had stayed up for more than a dozen nights without sleep. Now, shockingly, he had turned into an 80-year-old man. With a dazed face and blank eyes, he said, okay, the great work is complete. Brothers, you've worked hard. Let's go have a late-night meal. But when he turned and looked around, he discovered that all his roommates were so exhausted that they were sleeping like corpses. Forget it, then. Tomorrow noon, I'll treat these brats to a meal. Then Nguyen Quang Kien slowly walked over to the computer and started messaging our Bui Kim at Bui Kim's dormitory at this moment. After he read Nguyen Quang Kien's message, his jaw dropped in shock. Holy crap, that's pretty efficient. They finished everything on schedule. I just don't know what the quality is like. Then he opened the system information panel to take a look. There were 8 days left until the next system settlement. The system funds had dropped by 291,208 yuan. At present, only 8,792 remained. After seeing that, Bui Kim thought to himself, there's still more than 8,000 yuan left. Out of that, 3,000 is Ma Duong's salary, which can only be paid at the end of the month. There's still 5,000 yuan left. I have to spend it before settlement. I'll just go to the resource website and randomly buy something to get over with. In any case, all the system funds must be spent. A while later, the file Nguyen Quang Kien sent had finished downloading. Okay, it's finally downloaded. Please don't draw it too beautifully for me, for heaven's sake. The moment he opened it, what hit his eyes was Guan Yu holding a blade, looking unbelievably cool. Our Bui Kim's expression froze for a full 100 seconds. Damn it, am I seeing things? Are you kidding me? Every page is at this level? These are really paintings drawn by Nguyen Quang Kien? If he has VIP level works like this, why are all his representative works chibi? The situation was way too damn bad. Bui Kim immediately convened an emergency meeting inside his head right away. I hereby declare the second emergency meeting open. We're done for. It's already too late to cancel now. The game has to be launched within today, tomorrow, or the day after, otherwise the system will extend the settlement deadline. Is there any rescue plan? The glasses-wearing Bui Kim immediately replied, everyone, calm down. Things aren't that bad yet. These styles can be called fresh and unique, but gamers may not necessarily like them. Bui Kim, holding a cup of coffee, also chimed in. That's right. Besides, our game still uses an old model. The gameplay is monotonous, and the other resources are all worthless, bland, and boring. Another Bui Kim, wearing a bow tie, also spoke up. True. The players don't even know this game exists, so how could they see the images in the game? Then the whole group started chattering like a noisy marketplace. Right. We must try not to occupy the trending searches of any website. At the same time, the name also must not contain the words Three Kingdoms. When submitting it for review, we should simplify the game title and the brief introduction. Ideally, people should feel confused and have no idea what it is just by looking at it. That way, it will definitely be fine. A while later, Ma Duong, wearing a yellow shirt, came over to take a look. Brother Kim, what are you doing? Then he was utterly shocked. This this is the original character art for our game? Oh my god, it's awesome. Our Bowie Keem then replied, it's mainly because you did such a good job on the requirement sheet. You gave the artists creative inspiration. After hearing that, Ma Duong was immediately delighted. Holy crap, really? That's great. Turns out I actually have some talent in this area. Huh? Then Bowie Keem added, Ma Duong, come try the game and see if there are any bugs. If not, we'll prepare to release it. Ma Duong obediently listened like a puppy. Hey, Brother Keem, I forgot to ask, what's the name of our game? Bowie Keem replied, Ghost General, an extremely ordinary card game. The scene switched to Nguyen Quang Kien's group. At present, the whole group was eating and drinking in grand fashion. Cheers! Try this lamb leg skewer. It's best while it's hot. Everyone, don't be shy. Open it and drink. Today, we're not going home until we're drunk. Suddenly, a guy with glasses asked, Right, Quang Kien, which game do we make these images for? When is it launching? Nguyen Quang Kien scratched his head and replied, I think it's called Ghost General. I didn't ask when it's launching, so I don't know. Let me check on the Spro platform. Holy crap, it's already launched. Didn't you just deliver the images this morning? It went live in the afternoon? Then the whole group immediately crowded around to look. Afterward, everyone's jaw dropped, completely unable to understand what was going on. What the heck is this? What's wrong with this game? This is an ordinary card game. Isn't this way too superficial? One guy said, Damn, Lonely Desert Highway was also made by this person. It's selling for 30 yuan. Which of you bought it? Nguyen Quang Kien immediately replied, I bought it. No matter what, I have to check out the result of my own labor. Then a guy in a white shirt started trying the game. Hee hee, I just got through the beginner tutorial. Come on, let's do a lucky draw. Huh, I got 2 cards in one draw. Am I that lucky? Then the whole group was extremely surprised. Wait, I also drew 2 cards. Me too. I even drew 3 cards. Nguyen Quang Kien was full of question marks at this moment, completely unable to understand. Is the game still in the testing phase? Is that why the chance of drawing rare cards is so high? Suddenly, a guy with glasses shoved his phone right in front of Nguyen Quang Kien's eyes and said, Look at this. The in-game shop only sells 1 lifetime card for 30 yuan, and after buying it, you also get 1 extra 10 draw every day. It looks like it doesn't do much, does it? What about the VIP system? 3 Kingdoms 3Q goes all the way up to VIP 8, but this side doesn't even have one. This game is really strange. Maybe I'll tactfully ask President Bowie. Perhaps he has some special intention. It's also possible this game still isn't the official version, right? Then Nguyen Quang Kien messaged our Bowie Keem at once. Hey, President Bowie, I noticed there's no VIP level system in the game. Also, the shop only sells 1 type of item. Is the game still in testing? You haven't released the official version yet? Bowie Keem also replied immediately. This is the official version. The messaging conversation was imagined as a grand courtroom dialogue. At this moment, Nguyen Quang Kien asked, Then what about the items in the shop? Our Bowie Keem replied, Our game only sells 1 lifetime card. We also don't plan to sell new products in the future. After hearing that, Nguyen Quang Kien's jaw dropped in shock. Huh? Why? Bowie Keem replied coldly. There's no reason. Our pricing plan follows a buy-to-play model. How could we open too many transactions? Actually, we originally didn't plan to sell this 30 yuan lifetime card at all, but after thinking it over carefully, some players might need it, so we added it. Nguyen Quang Kien then frowned and asked, What about advertising? I saw that the download numbers for this game are very low. Is it because you didn't run ads? Our Bowie Keem also replied calmly, I didn't run ads. Huh? Why didn't you run ads? He immediately pretended to sigh and replied, Because there's no money. The total investment in this game was 300,000 yuan. Buying models, art resources, and music effects used it all up. After hearing that, Nguyen Quang Kien fell into thought. What's going on? What exactly did President Bowie mean? Then he stood up firmly and said loudly, Brothers, I think Ghost General needs us. Here's what happened. Actually, on President Bowie's side, at first I thought President Bowie was a tycoon, so he didn't bargain, and even offered a fairly reasonable price. Finding it strange, the guy with glasses asked, This game is so conscientious. Does it not plan to make money? At this moment, Nguyen Quang Kien clenched his fist and said, "It's not that he doesn't plan to make money. President Bowie is a man of pure ideals. He doesn't want to earn that kind of dirty money." After hearing that, everyone started discussing noisily. But no matter how clean a game is, if there's no publicity or advertising, there's no way it can become popular. How about we do it ourselves? If we were popular streamers or famous YouTubers, of course we could do it ourselves, but we don't have those abilities. Suddenly, Nguyen Quang Kien slammed his hand on the table with a bang and said decisively, "President Bowie treated us with too much loyalty and honor. So I must repay that loyalty and honor. I have a group chat, and there are several famous artists in it. I'll ask them and see if they can help think of a way." The scene switched to Ma Duong and Bowie Kim. Ma Duong was now bored out of his mind. Is the game we made really that trash? No one is paying any attention to it. I see other people's games getting tens of thousands of downloads on the first day. But why does our game only have a dozen downloads on the first day? Our Bowie Kim immediately patted his shoulder and said happily, "It's fine. New games are all like this. Take it slow and things will get better." But in his heart, the young man was thinking, dream on. This game truly doesn't have a single special feature. Who would bother downloading it? A long while later, Ma Duong opened the computer and said, "Let me check the data again. I wonder if anything changed over the past 3 hours." On this side, our Bowie Kim chuckled inwardly. Forget 3 hours. Even after 3 days or 3 months, no one will care about this game. As long as I can hold out until the next settlement, I'll have 300,000 yuan in hand. Ha ha! As soon as he finished thinking that, Ma Duong shouted loudly, Brother Kim, there's something. Our game's downloads have gone up, and there are lots of people leaving reviews. They're all 5-star ratings." The young man, who was drinking water, sprayed it out with a violent choking sound. Sure enough, bragging too early always gets you slapped in the face. "What did you say?" Unable to believe it, the young man also came over to take a look, then thought to himself, "It's over." The downloads suddenly increased by several thousand. And they're all 5-star reviews? No, impossible. Our Bowie Kim looked as if he was having a stroke. Then he fell backward, his head hitting the pillow, feeling utterly furious. Damn it. What the hell is wrong with this world? Where exactly did the problem come from? Then Ma Duong hurriedly ran over and called him, Brother Kim. What? I know you put a lot of effort into this game. Now that all your suffering has finally paid off, you must be very excited, but don't get too worked up. It's bad for your health. Hee. After hearing that, our Bowie Kim revealed a smile that could not have been more lifeless. Hee. That's right, we succeeded. At the same time, the young man thought to himself, is this what excitement looks like? It's more like despair. A while later, he finally calmed down and thought, forget it. This time, defeat is defeat. But I want to understand clearly. Where exactly did I fail? Wait. In these comments, it seems most of the players are mentioning the visuals. That proves the players were attracted by the visuals. But how do they see them? Could it be? Our Bowie Kim checked it out. Who did this? Who was so capable that they got so many big names in the industry to post promotional content for Ghost General? Then, to his shock, he discovered that it was Nguyen Quang Kien. He never expected the problem to be with that guy. But why did you have to go out of your way to advertise for me? Did you have nothing better to do after eating your fill? Bowie Kim immediately sent a message to ask, did you help me advertise Ghost General on Facebook? Nguyen Quang Kien replied, that's right. I found a few artist friends to help promote it a little. I saw that you made a very clean game, and it would be a real shame if it were buried. The total capital of 300,000 yuan was all used entirely on game development. My other artist friends were also moved by your spirit. Besides, this game is truly very clean, and the quality is quite good. Of course, the art I drew is also flawless, so that's why I could get such a good response. I only did a tiny thing. After reading that, our Bowie Kim was so angry that his face turned purple. Still, he had no choice but to reply, then I really have to thank you. After that, Nguyen Quang Kien replied, Boss Bowie, Keep it up. I believe you'll definitely be able to release even more great games in the future. I hope we'll have the chance to work together again. The scene shifts to 1 week later, the day of the system settlement. Our Bowie Keem was currently standing on the balcony, reflecting on life. Then the system suddenly announced. The current system funds were 514,723 yuan. The current profit was 214,723 yuan. Based on the conversion rate of 100 to 1, the host would receive 2,147 yuan. His current personal assets were 2,371 yuan. After reading it, Bowie Keem let out an extremely gloomy sigh. In just 1 week, Ghost General's revenue had reached around 500,000, meaning the transaction volume was 1 million. The game had recovered its costs within a week of launch, and had even earned over 200,000 on top of that. Yet his personal assets had only increased by 2,000 yuan. Who could possibly endure this? Just thinking about it made the young man burst into tears. Seriously, what the hell? The first week had already earned 500,000. Next week would only earn more. The next settlement was 3 months later. If this estimate stayed the same, 3 months of revenue would reach over 6 million. Renting a luxurious office would cost 400,000 yuan a month. Hiring another 30 employees would cost 200,000 yuan a month. Office supplies would probably cost around 1 million too, right? What hassle. Finding an office, hiring employees, buying company supplies. He had never done any of these things before. While he was racking his brains over it, a hand suddenly slapped him on the shoulder. As it turned out, it was none other than our cute bowl-cut Ma Duong. Brother Keem, the game is super popular now. Does that mean we can go out and have a huge meal? Bowie Keem immediately replied, okay, let's go. In his heart, he was also thinking that he had promised him before. If they made money, he would treat him to a buffet. Ma Duong then found it strange and asked, hey, Brother Keem, the game succeeded, but why do you look unhappy? After hearing that, Bowie Keem gave a dry smile and replied, oh, it's nothing. I've just been busy making the game these past few days, so I'm a bit tired and need some rest. Ma Duong immediately elbowed him and said, no matter what, you're the boss of a company now. How can you not pay attention to your health? You can't do everything yourself. Hire an assistant and just hand everything over to her. Our Bowie Keem suddenly saw the light. Hire an assistant? Ma Duong continued, that's right. I've seen it in lots of movies. The domineering CEO drives luxury cars and picks up girls every day. All the company work is left to the assistant. As the old saying goes, when there's work, let the secretary do it. When there's no work, do the secretary. After hearing that, our Bowie Keem's face instantly brightened again. That's right. I need to hire an assistant. At the same time, he thought to himself, hire an assistant, so she can help me spend money. Ha! Then he placed a hand on Ma Duong's shoulder and said sneakily, hey, you're a genius. I really do need an assistant, and a professional assistant who knows how to do everything. In his heart, he was also thinking slyly. With an assistant like that, someone could help him rent an office, recruit employees, buy supplies, and handle all the things that required spending money, right? Once he decided, he immediately went straight to the customer service center of X Mountain Human Resources Group in Jingzhou. A man in a suit then came over to greet him. Hello, Boss Bowie. I am the general manager of X Mountain Human Resources Group's Handong Province region. I'm very happy to serve you. You may call me Lauren. Bowie Keem warmly shook his hand and replied, hello, Manager Luo. I came this time because I want to hire an assistant. Manager Luo immediately said, certainly. May I ask if you have any specific requirements? Our Bowie Keem lightly replied with 4 words, the most expensive one. After hearing that, the manager immediately placed a huge stack of resume materials in front of him. These candidates are all the finest assistant talents in Handong Province. Our headhunters have already spoken with all of them. I guarantee that whether in communication, handling work, or dealing with people, they are all extremely capable and first-rate. After reading for a while, Bowie Keem found something strange and asked, This Miss Tan-Hai Lu was originally the assistant to the deputy general manager of a well-known company. Why did she resign afterward? It isn't written on her resume. Manager Luo hesitated and replied, "Ah, this matter. Boss Bowie, you probably don't often read the news, do you?" Finding it strange, he asked, "What news?" That deputy general manager got drunk and had bad intentions. Who would have thought he'd run into someone who was not to be trifled with? In the end, that deputy general manager was fired, and Assistant Tan resigned on her own initiative. After hearing that, Bowie Kim was extremely shocked. Damn, she's a heroine among women. Then I'll choose her. But I have one requirement. Manager Luo replied, "Please go ahead. Any requirement can be discussed." Our Bowie Kim then said, "Only when I ask for her opinion may she give suggestions. At all other times, no matter what happens, she must remain silent and not ask too many questions." After hearing that, Manager Luo smiled so widely his eyes narrowed and replied, "Of course. Those are the basic qualities of a manager's assistant." On the second day, after 3 days, at a towering skyscraper, a car suddenly arrived and braked to a stop in an extremely grand fashion, making everyone standing nearby stare wide-eyed. Suddenly, a beautiful woman with an exceptionally elegant figure stepped out. This was our Bowie Kim's executive assistant. Her name was Tan-Hai Lu, and her monthly salary was 30,000 yuan. She got out with great professionalism and elegance, then opened the door for Bowie Kim. "We've arrived." He got out of the car, looked up at the building, and thought to himself, "Shenhua Grandview, the most expensive and luxurious office building in Jingzhou. I have arrived." Next, the two of them entered the elevator and went upstairs to negotiate with the agent. Then a man in a tucked-in white shirt spoke to him with great enthusiasm. "If Boss Bowie wants to rent an entire floor and not share with other companies, you may take a look at this 17th floor. The view from up here is absolutely wonderful. Would you like me to show you around?" Our Bowie Kim looked it over and replied, "Okay, the scenery is very nice." After hearing that, the agent happily added, "If it's a newly established company, the government has preferential policies. Here at Shenhua Grandview, we can allow you to pay half in advance and settle the rest at the end of the month." Bowie Kim then asked, "How much is the price?" The agent slowly raised 4 fingers and said, "Only 4 yuan per square meter. This price may be a little higher in Jingzhou, but you get what you pay for. Choosing to rent office space here will definitely help your company leave a good first impression." Unexpectedly, Bowie Kim was startled and replied, "For yuan? That cheap?" After hearing that, the agent was shocked out of his mind. At the same time, Bowie Kim thought to himself, "This floor is around 3,000 square meters. Calculated at 5 yuan per square meter, it would cost 450,000 yuan per month." Over on this side, the agent scratched his head, completely unable to understand what was going on. He thought to himself, "Damn, this young master from a tycoon family dresses pretty plainly. And on top of that, he has such a gorgeous assistant like Tan-Hai Lu." Then our Bowie Kim sighed and thought in his heart, "I didn't expect it to be 1 yuan less than I estimated. That leaves another 90,000 yuan extra every month." The agent then asked again, "Boss Bowie, are you satisfied with the environment here?" Our Bowie Kim put his hands in his pockets and replied coolly, "I'll rent this floor." He was also thinking, "Fine, I'll spend however much I can. After all, Ghost General is working hard to make money every day." After hearing that, the agent was so delighted he was practically drooling. Yes, I'll prepare the contract immediately." A while later, our Bowie Kim began pointing things out to the beautiful manager. A good working environment can improve work efficiency and also enhance our company's image. The desks must be expensive, and not just expensive, they must also be grand. The computers must be the most expensive models. The keyboards and mice must also be high-end. Get 2 monitors each. This is the information age, and we are a game company. Computers are our primary productive force. We also need potted plants. When people get tired from work, looking at plants and greenery can relax their minds. Green plants aren't easy to maintain, so we must hire a professional to take care of them. I think that space over there is very suitable for a small gym. The game industry easily causes all kinds of health problems, so exercising regularly is the only way to work well. A reception room, sofas, and tea-drinking equipment are all indispensable. It would be best to choose a high-end tea set and buy 7 or 8 kinds of good tea. If we ever have business negotiations, we'll have something to entertain people with. Manager Tan was stunned after hearing all that. Yes, Boss Bowie. I'll arrange everything properly for you right away. May I ask what total cost you can accept? He immediately hesitated and replied, about 500,000 to 800,000, I suppose. Best if it's 800,000. At the same time, he was thinking to himself, okay, good. The system didn't object or warn me, which proves that 800,000 doesn't violate the rules. 1 month of rent deposit is 700,000, and office supplies are 800,000. In the blink of an eye, I've spent 1.5 million. Awesome. After that, he went to the finest VIP fashion boutique in the city and immediately bought himself watches, suits, leather shoes, and all kinds of branded items to wear. At this moment, our Bowie Kim looked as handsome as a male god. The assistant standing beside him saw this and said with shining eyes, Georgia is a high-end Italian brand with over 100 years of history. It is famous for flawless custom tailoring. If you're not satisfied, I can find some even more high-end suits, but if they need to be custom-made, it may take a great deal of time. After hearing that, our Bowie Kim said happily, Good, have them all tailored for me. Then she gestured toward the beautiful saleswoman and added, including the set the boss is wearing, that makes 3 sets in total. The first set is relatively formal and can be worn on special occasions, such as business discussions with other bosses or award ceremonies. The other 2 lean more toward casual wear and are very suitable as everyday outfits. After hearing that, he also agreed. At the same time, his heart was practically jumping with joy. The system didn't warn me. This money can be spent. Next, the beautiful manager Tan said to the saleswoman, then take 2 sets of each type, matched for different occasions. You may take his measurements now. Hurry. After hearing that, the saleswoman immediately agreed and followed her instructions. Then our Bowie Kim went over and let her measure him for the clothes. At the same time, he was thinking, 2 sets of each type, she really is willing to spend. Assistant Tan then added, Your work is busy. After we return, I'll buy some more everyday clothing that you'll wear regularly. You won't need to personally choose them. Bowie Kim replied, Very good. You really are thoughtful. Then he looked in the mirror, smiled, and said to himself, Look at that. This is what they call professional. A while later, the 2 of them drove back home. On the way back, Assistant Tan turned to him and said, This is the shopping list we discussed last time. Please take a look. 1 extra-large ornamental plant, priced at 988 yuan. 10 money trees, each priced at 188 yuan. 1 set of high-end sofas, 60,000 yuan. A handmade tea set, 22,000 yuan. A natural stone tea tray, 13,000 yuan, as well as tea leaves. High-end desks, streamer chairs, high-end PC sets, 2 monitors of the newest model, and keyboards. 30 sets in total, priced at 600,000 yuan. At this moment, the young man picked it up and read it until his head spun. But he only looked at the final number. As long as it was expensive, that was all that mattered. At the same time, the beautiful assistant said, All the products are genuine, bought at the lowest internal prices. Not a single cent of the company's money has been wasted. A while later, the 2 of them arrived at a building that looked as grand as a royal castle. She said, Boss Bowie, we've arrived. This is the 2-bedroom, 1 living room apartment near the school that you instructed me to find earlier. The access card and keys are inside. He immediately reached out and took them. At the same time, he was thinking to himself, As expected, the system didn't warn me either. Buying clothes and renting a place may look unrelated to the company, but they're also connected to the image of a boss. Then she gently added, Then please rest, boss. The newly purchased items will be delivered to your place over the next few days. Our Bowie Kim also replied, Okay, good. Starting next week, I'll interview candidates in the small conference room. When the time comes, I'll have to trouble you, Assistant Tan, to prepare the materials for me." After hearing that, she smiled and replied, "Of course. That's part of my job." A while later, Assistant Tan also drove away. Our Bowie Kim walked along while thinking to himself, "The purchases and the apartment rental are all done. Next, I should think about what kind of people to hire. They can't be too smart. If they affect my plan, I'll be screwed. They can't be too stupid either. The game still has to be made, or else the system's requirements won't be completed. If I just post recruitment information online, I'll probably only get a bunch of random nobodies claiming they can do the job. But I also can't write the recruitment notice too exaggeratedly." Suddenly, he remembered something. That's right. Back at Handong University, besides Ma Duong, there was another talent. A while later, our Bowie Kim had arrived at a place familiar to him. He looked up and thought, freshman year of university. Every day, that guy buried himself in the internet cafe, never returning to the dormitory and never changing clothes. In summer, when everyone else wore shorts and t-shirts, he still wore a sweater and long pants. Then he walked inside and looked around. In his sophomore year, because he failed too many courses, the university advised him to withdraw. After that, he made a living boosting ranks and selling items, staying in the internet cafe for another 2 or 3 years. Suddenly, he said excitedly, "Found him." As it turned out, the person our Bowie Kim was looking for was this fat, disheveled gaming addict. At the same time, Bowie Kim walked over while thinking, nickname overnight, known to the world as Super Grind Emperor Bao Su. Then he suddenly called out to him, Bao Su, can you stop for a moment?" After hearing that, the young man took off his headphones, extremely surprised. "Huh, you're looking for me?" Then he began to tempt him. "I have a job here. Do you want to do it?" At the same time, Bowie Kim was thinking to himself, for such an experienced hardcore player, even if I recruit him and pay him a bit more, the system will have to accept it. But knowing how to play games doesn't mean knowing how to make games. He'll very likely be inflexible and mess everything up. Hee. After hearing that, Bao Su showed a careless expression and replied, "Internet cafe administrator? Not interested." As soon as he finished speaking, our Bowie Kim slammed a thick stack of cash onto the table. He said, "Not an administrator, a designer. If you accept, this is your salary paid in advance. Not only that, but the company will also install the highest-end PC setup and 2 monitors. You can play games to your heart's content." After hearing that, the young man was shocked out of his mind. "What? You're really not lying to me? Then what is my job?" Our Bowie Kim replied lightly, "Playing games. Experience all kinds of games outside our own company's games, and whenever you discover any problems, report them to me immediately. Of course, you can also participate in design work and offer suggestions. I think you're completely capable of taking on this position, right?" After hearing that, Bao Su lowered his head and hesitantly replied, "I agree. I'm willing to consider it." Seeing that the fish had taken the bait, our Bowie Kim immediately stood up, placed a hand on his shoulder, and said, "Then what you need to do now is take this 500 yuan, go wash up properly, get a haircut, and buy a decent set of clothes." Then he walked out coolly and added, "Our company is in Shenhua Grandview. As for when you'll start work, I'll call you when the time comes. Just be ready." After hearing that, the young man Bao Su took the stack of money, tears of emotion welling in his eyes. Then he buried his face on the table and sobbed. "Boo-hoo. Finally, someone recognizes me. Oh no, our Bowie Kim might be in trouble. This young man Bao Su doesn't seem quite right. Hee. The next morning, a young man with blonde hair looked up at Bowie Kim's company building and said, "Dang dat, the company that made the 2 games Lonely Desert Highway and Ghost General is actually in Shenhua Grandview." His name was Huang Sibo, a game planning executive with a monthly salary of 1,500 yuan. Then he walked into the building and pressed the elevator button to go up to Bowie Kim's company floor. Unexpectedly, as soon as the elevator doors opened, he spotted an acquaintance. It was the game planning supervisor, named Old Lu, with a monthly salary of 7,000 yuan. Seeing that, The blond young man's eyes nearly popped out of his head. Damn, old Lou? Why is he here? Then blonde Huang Sibo gave a bland, watery smile, raised his hand, and greeted him. Hee hee, Brother Lou, good morning. After hearing that, the man smiled contemptuously and replied, the requirements here are very high. You don't have a chance of getting in, kid. I'm heading back first. You'd better hurry home and sleep, kid. After hearing that, Two-Back's face turned as black as a dog's snout, and his mouth hung open in utter shock. Damn. He never expected old Lou to be here for an interview too. Could the requirements here really be that high? Then he stepped out of the elevator, thinking to himself, old Lou's expression definitely meant he failed. If even he failed, then I'm probably hopeless. But since I'm already here, I might as well give it a try before leaving. After that, Hong Two-Back walked over to the reception desk. The two beautiful receptionists in red greeted him at once. Hello, are you here for an interview? Seeing that the two girls were so sweet and attractive, the young man scratched his head awkwardly and replied, Ah, yes, I'm here for an interview. I'm Juan Two-Back. At the same time, he was thinking to himself, damn, there's actually a pair of such lovely twin sisters at the front desk. At this moment, the two pretty, curvy receptionists replied, Please wait a moment. I'll inform the interviewer right away. Please follow me. After that, Hong Two-Back was led to CEO Bowie Kim's office. As he looked around the company office, his eyes nearly went crooked. Holy crap! Why is everything here so high-end? The computers were the most expensive models, and all the other supplies were famous brands. The office was as spacious as a golf course. Then a receptionist knocked on the door and spoke gently, her voice sweet as syrup. Mr. Bowie, I brought the interviewee here. He immediately replied, Okay, come in. Unexpectedly, when the door opened, they found our Bowie Kim sitting in the office, looking extremely handsome and cool. Then he warmly said, You're Hong Two-Back, right? Please have a seat. I'm Bowie Kim, the CEO of Dang Dat Technology Network Company, Limited. After hearing that, Hong Two-Back slowly sat down and answered nervously, Yes. Hello, Mr. Bowie. Then our Bowie Kim immediately poured a cup of fragrant tea and said, Relax. Sit down and let's talk. Here, have some tea. Blonde-haired Two-Back picked it up and replied, Yes, thank you, Mr. Bowie. At the same time, he thought to himself, Damn, this is real silver. Is this Mr. Bowie some hidden tycoon? At this moment, our Bowie Kim began speaking. Briefly tell me about your work experience. Two-Back immediately replied, I used to work at Shenyang Games. After hearing that, Bowie Kim gave a gentle smile. Seeing this, Two-Back felt strange and thought to himself, It's over. What is Mr. Bowie laughing about? Is he laughing at me for overestimating myself? Thinking someone at my level actually dares to come here for an interview? A newcomer like me who hasn't been in the industry long really is daydreaming. Unexpectedly, Bowie Kim said, Excellent. Young Hong Two-Back's mouth fell open, completely unable to understand what was going on. Suddenly, our Bowie Kim pointed straight at Two-Back and said, Your qualifications perfectly match our company's requirements. May I ask when you could start work? After hearing that, the young man's eyes widened, as if he thought he was dreaming. Huh? That? The day after tomorrow, sir. Then Bowie Kim smiled cheerfully and said, Okay, excellent. Then remember to bring your resignation documents the day after tomorrow, and we'll sign the official labor contract. As for salary and benefits, do you have any expectations? Hong Two-Back, shy as an 18-year-old girl, said, 2,000 a month, sir. Would that be all right? At the same time, he was thinking, I do have half a year of experience. My old salary was 1,500, so asking for 500 yuan more shouldn't be too much, right? Then our Bowie Kim sighed, even placing a hand on his forehead in great distress. Seeing this, blonde-haired Two-Back rolled his eyes in regret. What? Did I ask for too much? I would have been fine with the same salary as before. Why did I bargain so stupidly? Unexpectedly, our Bowie Kim raised his hand and said, You're in a place in Jingzhou, so 1,000 yuan a month shouldn't be considered high, right? Including daily meals and social expenses, That would also cost 800 yuan a month. Not too much, right? Hong Tu-bak was hit by one surprise after another until he was practically dazed. Then Bui Kim sat down and continued in a clear voice. Buying 2 or 3 new sets of clothes a month costs 300 yuan, which is acceptable, right? Utilities and monthly living expenses add another 200 yuan. If you buy your girlfriend lipstick and cosmetics for New Year every year, that also requires 300 yuan a month. Add 100 yuan for transportation, and you should also keep 500 yuan in savings every month, right? We respond to the national policy and pay a full year of various insurance contributions. Calculated before tax, at least 3,500 yuan is needed to guarantee a basic living standard, isn't it? But our company has sworn that we must provide employees with salaries and benefits above the industry's normal level. Hearing this, Tu-bak felt as if he had been struck by lightning and froze for a full 100 seconds. And yet Bui Kim even raised 4 fingers and continued decisively. How does 4,000 a month sound? After hearing that, the young man rolled his eyes as if his soul had left his body. He thought to himself, damn, is he joking? Do rich people really think so differently? Then Tu-bak scratched his head and stammered, Yes, that's fine. Then the two shook hands cordially, and Bui Kim added, Then it's happily decided. Dang Dat Technology Network welcomes you aboard. Hong Tu-bak thanked him repeatedly with great joy. When he walked out, both of his legs were trembling, and he was utterly shocked. Then he closed the door. On Bui Kim's side, he was using an expensive pen to sign some kind of document. As it turned out, that annoying-looking old Lou had been eliminated by him right from the parking lot stage. As for the fresh graduate Hong Tu-bak, he accepted him immediately without much thought. At this moment, he was so delighted he almost burst out laughing, saying happily, Excellent. Just like that. The great task is accomplished. Ha ha ha. Outside the office, the two receptionists were frozen like flags. The reason was that the dozens of employees Bui Kim had hired were playing League of Legends and shouting insults at each other. Damn you! How dare you steal my monster? You're really asking to die. One person looked toward Bao Su and said, You're amazing. Let's add each other as friends. Bao Su immediately replied, Sure. My ID is Bao Su. Add me now. Seeing this, Ma Duong went to Bui Kim's office. Hey, Brother Kim, can I come in? Our Bui Kim was lying happily on the sofa, playing Forza 5, and replied, Come in. Have some tea with me. Then Ma Duong picked up a cup of tea and said, Brother Kim, your efficiency is really high. I saw that we're about to sign several employees outside. Recruitment is going so smoothly. After hearing that, Bui Kim handed Ma Duong a stack of documents and said, Not bad. Take a look. These are their resumes. Ma Duong picked them up and read them, stiff as a rock and completely unable to understand what was happening. Then, the more the young man read, the more awkward his expression became. His face turned as black as soot, and his eyes nearly popped out. Most of these people seemed to have no experience or achievements at all. Brother Kim, are lead designers really that hard to find? How about we offer more money, or hire someone to help us search? After hearing that, Bui Kim immediately put on an act, crossed his arms, and said coldly, No. Actually, there were lead designers who came looking for us, but I rejected them all. Ma Duong's mouth opened wide in extreme shock. Huh? What? Our Bui Kim then turned toward the glass door, raised his hand, and said coolly, First of all, these lead designers all have a serious problem. Their thinking is rigid, and they can no longer nurture new ideas. Second, these designers ask for very high prices, and their cost-performance ratio is far too poor. Surprisingly, Ma Duong actually believed him. I see. So that's how it is. Bui Kim continued. Finally, and this is the most important point, they seem to have no passion left for games at all. Finding this strange, bowl-cut Ma Duong asked, But without them, who will be responsible for the game design project? After hearing that, our Bui Kim sighed. Then he declared loudly and firmly, Me. But you're the boss. Don't you need a designer to assist you? Bui Kim replied, There's already someone to assist me. That guy named Hong Tu Bak is pretty good. If we hired a lead designer, wouldn't he be able to tell at a glance that there's a problem with my design plan? After hearing that, Ma Duong asked Hong Tu Bak, half a year of experience, always worked in operations planning. Is that really okay? Then Bui Kim waved his hand and replied, don't look at his position. Look at what he actually did. Most of the game's original systems were made by him through the cloud editing program. He also adjusted the in-game data tables 7 or 8 times. Is that operations planning? He's clearly the lead designer's operations assistant. After hearing that, young Ma Duong's eyes sparkled with delight. Then he really is a talent. If we calculate according to the salary standard for a lead designer, paying him $4,000 a month now is a little low, isn't it? Seeing how foolish and easy to fool this young man was, Bui Kim secretly rejoiced and continued. I think so too, but there's no rush. If he does well, we'll raise his salary. Besides, the others are all very talented too. For example, Bao Su ranks first in his entire race in World of Illusions. Judging only by titles and achievements, he already has 6 of them. As for leading teams to kill beasts, that's an everyday thing for him. Think about it. He can lead 40 people to kill a boss. Wouldn't having a managed project progress be perfect? On Ma Duong's side, his face was full of excitement as he replied, talents, talents. They're all talents. Brother Kim, when do we start working? Bui Kim immediately replied, no day is better than today. Let's start tomorrow. A while later, our Bui Kim walked out his office and spoke, startling everyone. Everyone, please stop what you're doing for a moment. I have something important to announce. All the employees immediately widened their eyes and focused intently on him. Then he cleared his throat and began speaking dramatically. After this period of preparation, most of you should already have entered work mode. Therefore, starting tomorrow, we will officially begin operations. After hearing that, everyone applauded happily in agreement, smiling brightly. It's here. It's finally here. We're about to enter the explosive development stage. At this moment, Hong Tu Bak was practically bouncing with excitement inside. Come on, work, torment me all you want. Such an outstanding work environment, such ridiculous salary and benefits, and a boss who recognizes my potential. What reason do I have not to give it my all? Bring it on. I can handle everything. As he said this, tears streamed down the young man's face. Then our Bui Kim raised his hand and declared loudly and decisively, all right. To celebrate the official start of work tomorrow, that's all for today. Everyone, go home. After hearing that, Hong Tu Bak froze as if lightning had struck him. Huh? Did I hear that wrong? Then Bui Kim continued. Today is Friday, so we'll get off work early. Tomorrow and the day after are the weekend. Monday is Singles Day, so we need to take that day off too. On this side, Tu Bak checked his watch and was immediately shocked. Damn, it's only 3 in the afternoon and we're already getting off work? The scene shifted to the following Monday night at Bui Kim's home. At this moment, he was lying sprawled on the sofa, thinking to himself, official operations begin tomorrow. This time, what kind of game should I make to guarantee a loss? Right away, he convened a mental meeting, which was something else. Who will speak first this time? Glasses-wearing Bui Kim raised his hand immediately. I'll go first. He also said with a bored expression, all right, please give your opinion, Glasses Bui Kim. The difficulty this time is that we need to choose the wrong direction, but we can't let the employees see at a glance that we're doing it deliberately. Bui Kim, holding a coffee cup, also added, smart devices are becoming popular too quickly now, and mobile games are on the rise. At the very least, we can no longer touch mobile games. Bui Kim, holding a game console, immediately spoke up. Then how about a PC game? Can we make a game to defeat World of Illusions? Glasses Bui Kim replied, PC games won't work. They're a bit risky. What if we accidentally create a hit like GX3? Coffee cup Bui Kim slammed the cup onto the table and said, how about making a shooter? That's right. And there's already a very successful shooter on the market now. Glasses Bui Kim raised his hand in agreement. Exactly. That type of game has very high production requirements. Our employees definitely won't be able to make it. At this moment, all 5 of them unanimously raise their hands in approval. If we charge straight into it, we'll definitely die. During development, if we add a few strange changes, it's sure to fail and guarantee a complete loss. Hehehe, not bad, not bad. Hurry and transition. The scene shifted to Tuesday morning, November 12th. Our Bowie team had called all the company employees to a roundtable meeting. More than a dozen pairs of eyes were looking at him with rapt attention, waiting for him to speak. Our Bowie team cleared his throat and said loudly, "The next project we will work on is a PC FPS game that is a first-person shooter." After hearing that, Hong Tu-bak's face turned as green as a cosmetic lemon. Huh. Ghost General was already so successful, and the new project is a PC game and a first-person shooter at that. Our Hong Tu-bak was about to speak, but immediately got cut off by Bowie Kim. "We are not making a mobile game project. Dang Dat's goal is to become the overlord of games. We cannot let those tiny mobile game projects blind us. Being satisfied with small gains is not Dang Dat's character, nor is it mine." Then he raised his hand and spoke with tremendous force. "If Dang Dat does not do something, so be it. But if we do it, we must surpass everyone." After hearing that, all the employees applauded so loudly their ears nearly went deaf. At the same time, Hong Tu-bak thought to himself, "Damn, as expected of Mr. Bowie. His level and vision are truly on another level." Then Bowie Kim craftily pointed to the left and said, "For this first project, Hong Tu-bak, Bao Su, the 2 of you will be the main people in charge. Bao Su will be responsible for proposing design ideas, while Hong Tu-bak will serve as planning supervisor and handle implementation." After hearing this, blonde-haired Tu-bak's mouth fell open in shock. What? From an operations planner to planning supervisor in one step? In an instant, I've jumped past 5 or 6 years of experience. Then Bowie Kim raised 3 fingers and said, "As for this game, I have only 3 requirements. First, this game must have enough story modes. Don't simply make player versus player content. It must have depth and substance. Second, we need to pay great attention to the experience of new players. Make the game as simple as possible. Finally, for epic weapons, regarding the pricing, sell them outright for 888 yuan. As for the upper limit of how many should be sold, you could decide for yourselves. Are there any other questions?" At this point, Hong Tu-bak was about to raise his hand and speak. "Mr. Bowie, I have an opinion." But on this side, our Bowie Kim did not bother paying attention at all. No one has any other opinions? Excellent, excellent. Then everyone gradually applauded, but their expressions were extremely stiff. In their hearts, they were all thinking, "Damn it, boss, you're not even giving us a chance to speak?" After that, Bowie Kim stood up from his chair and said, "Then the planning team has 1 week to produce a design proposal. Bao Su, you will be responsible for the concept and direction. Hong Tu-bak, you will refine the proposal and divide the tasks. Ma Duong, for now, you just need to learn more from the others and do your best to help however you can." Ma Duong's mouth fell open as he replied, Okay, I understand." Then our Bowie Kim raised his hand, walked away coldly, and added, "If there are any problems, notify me. Especially money problems. You must not feel embarrassed." Meeting dismissed. At the same time, he was craftily thinking to himself, FPS games are different from other types of games. Story mode is a typical case of spending a lot for little return, and the final result can only be wasted effort. Moreover, lowering the game's difficulty out of consideration for beginners will also make players who are passionate about this genre dissatisfied. Add to that the sky-high price of 888 yuan for weapons. Not to mention that there's already a fairly famous FPS called CS GO. Overall, it has basically achieved a 100-point addictive gameplay experience. An FPS that can't compare to CS GO, wasting so much time just to make some half-baked story mode, with guns sold at outrageous prices and a project team where no one has FPS experience. If this game can even pass review after it's made, that'll already be more than enough. This time, go ahead and make a profit for me if you can. That night at the company office, Hong Tu-bak was still working and thinking to himself. In order to do a good job as planning supervisor, even if Mr. Bui said overtime would result in a salary deduction, I still have to do it. Unexpectedly, Bao Su walked over and presented some kind of plan that looked like a pile of rags. Brother Hong, I've roughly thought out the preliminary proposal. Seeing this, Tu-bak was also startled. At this moment, he pulled out a chair for young Bao Su to sit beside him and said, Brother Bao, sit down. Sit and then tell me. Bao Su immediately sat down and explained. President Bui's latter two requirements are easy to handle. The important one is the story mode. We definitely can't make it as polished as foreign FPS games. Character models, movements, scenes, and all that will be hard to reach that level. Sibo raised his chin and replied, right. I think so too. Bao Su continued. President Bui is good at spending little and gaining a lot. I think this is a challenge the boss has given us. Characters, scenes, and level clearance story segments all have to be saved wherever possible. We need to optimize as much as we can. First, in terms of characters, the game uses a first-person perspective, so we can cut down on the protagonist model. If we choose a zombie fighting theme, then the enemies will be zombies and mercenaries. We can just modify generic models and make sure there are several types of monsters. After listening, blonde-haired Sibo thought for a moment and replied, I get it. But I'm afraid that if there are only zombies and mercenaries, we won't be able to build much of a plot. We should still include a supporting role. Bao Su immediately handed over a planning document that looked like a dense jungle and replied, We only need one person, a little girl. I plan to set her as unable to speak. Young Sibo was completely dumbfounded after reading it. A mute, Bao Su said calmly. Yes, this is the most suitable result. Otherwise, we'd have to find a voice actor and add lip-sync modeling. That workload would be no small matter. We only need her gaze, expressions, and movements to work. This little girl will be like a source of light in the darkness. She can regulate the player's emotions so the player won't be completely immersed in the dull process of fighting zombies and mercenaries. She can also participate in solving some puzzles. For example, if the main door is closed and there's a ventilation duct nearby, the little girl can climb through it and help the protagonist open the door. Sibo agreed at this point. That works, but how should the story background be set up? It seems like you're designing a large base at sea. Bao Su then folded his arms and said coldly, this is the game setting I thought of. Some evil company is conducting virus experiments. The protagonist has to fight from the lowest level of the base all the way to the highest level and escape. That way, the game scenes are limited to rooms and corridors inside the base. Some scenes can have traces left on the walls and floors by various viruses. Some scenes are just messy rooms, while others are severely destroyed. For the same scene, we can alter a few details to create 3 or 4 different effects, satisfying the needs of all the scenes in the game. After hearing this, Huang Sibo immediately became excited. Damn, that idea is absolutely top tier. Then the two of them began expanding the idea further. Bao Su said, besides cutscenes, the content can also be expanded. For example, why would there be a little girl in the sea base of an evil company? Sibo immediately added, maybe the little girl carries a special antibody, so she was captured for experiments? Great. Then the little girl's blood can help the protagonist become immune to the virus. For example, if the player carelessly gets scratched or bitten by a zombie, the little girl will take the initiative to draw her own blood with a syringe to treat the protagonist. Does that work? Sibo added excitedly. Then, as the number of treatments increases, the little girl becomes weaker and weaker. The player needs to improve their skill level to reduce the number of treatments. Excellent, excellent. Huang Sibo then gave him a thumbs up and said, Brother Bao, you're amazing. With such limited resources, you still managed to create a reasonable plot with smooth logic and complete emotions. After hearing this, Bao Su waved his hand and replied, No. I merely completed the essay prompt President Bui gave us. He must have already thought this way from the very beginning. Sibo immediately smiled brightly and said, "Hee hee, you're too modest. President Bowie gave 3 requirements, and under the current circumstances, the solutions you proposed are already extremely appropriate. How could that be a coincidence?" Baosu also replied, "No. President Bowie was able to successfully make 2 games in a row, which proves that this was the direction he set from the very beginning." Finding it strange, Sibo asked, "Huh? Really? Then, Brother Bao, what about President Bowie's other 2 requirements?" "Haha, lowering the game's difficulty and making it suitable for beginners. That point is mainly a matter of controls, and it can be adjusted slowly. As for selling epic weapons, that is President Bowie's foresight." Young Sibo was instantly shocked after hearing this. What? What do you mean?" Bao Su then smiled inwardly and replied, "Don't you think President Bowie's requirement is too simple? But behind it, there must be a deeper, more far-reaching demand. Epic weapons, permanent usage rights priced at 888 yuan. Then doesn't that mean we also need ordinary weapons, elite weapons, and heroic weapons? How are players supposed to obtain those? In other words, President Bowie is hinting to us that the weapons in the game must be divided into tiers. Apart from epic tier weapons, everything else will not be sold." Hearing this, blonde-haired Sibo's eyes lit up as he suddenly understood. Damn, then we can let players obtain weapons through different methods, thereby increasing player activity. So that's how it is. As expected, President Bowie has a deeper meaning. Our Bowie scheme is finished now. With 2 talented people like this, who could understand 10 things from a single hint, it would be strange if he did not make a huge profit. Haha. A few hours later, Huang Sibo suddenly said, "Okay, everything has been solved. President Bowie hopes we can grow, but he's also afraid we'll go in the wrong direction. So he used this method to give us hints while also helping us think for ourselves. We must create a truly perfect game. We absolutely cannot disappoint President Bowie's expectations." On the morning of Wednesday, November 14th, at Bowie Keames University, the students were all gathered and studying extremely attentively. Our Bowie Keam was sitting at the last desk, transformed into a gaming demon, playing shooters and completely ignoring the world. So boring. If I weren't afraid of affecting the employees, I would have gone to the office and played to my heart's content. Suddenly, a message from Huang Sibo was sent to him. "President Bowie, the overall planning proposal is almost finished. Please take a look and decide the general direction." After reading it, he thought to himself, "Damn, they finished it in 2 days? Are they kidding me? Forget it. I'll take a look first." As soon as he opened it, he discovered a pile of text as thick as a dictionary, so much that reading it made his brain hurt. Damn it, what is this? My eyes are going blurry. How am I supposed to read this much text on a phone? Forget it. I'll just check whether they fulfilled my 3 requirements. Okay, there's a story mode, and it's even estimated at 3 to 4 hours. Lowering the game difficulty is also included. Epic weapons, permanent usage rights priced at 888 yuan. Good. They completed everything according to my requirements. The scene shifted to the office of Dang Dat Company. At this moment, all the employees were playing all kinds of games and cursing noisily. Damn it, how are these guys so bad? How am I supposed to carry the whole team alone? You're the dumbest one here. On the other side, Baosu was also focused on playing a game. Suddenly, he thought of something and sent a message to blonde-haired Sibo. "There's a pretty good plot segment. I'll record the screen and send it to you. See if it can be used." Sibo immediately replied, "Okay, Brother Bao. Got it." Then Sibo put on his headphones and immediately began watching. Meanwhile, our bowl cut Ma Duong saw this and thought Sibo was playing games. On the night of the following Monday, November 18th, our Bowie Keem was feeling depressed. He looked at the system panel and was so annoyed he did not even want to eat. His current funds were 971,634 yuan. His profit was 471,634 yuan compared to the start. He leaned back in his chair and nearly fell into depression. Damn it, seriously? The system funds increased again. Last time I checked, after so much difficulty, I had finally spent it down to around 200,000. Is losing money really this hard? Suddenly, Ma Duong knocked on the door. Brother Kim, Brother Kim. Then the young man rushed in and shouted wildly, I discovered something. Huang Sibo and the others are secretly working overtime every day using the company's computers. After hearing this, our Bui Kim's face turned pale like a lemon, and he was terrified. Huh? What did you say? Secretly working overtime? Hurry and tell them not to work overtime anymore. Why are they working overtime? They dare treat my words like wind passing by their ears. What is Huang Sibo working overtime for? Writing descriptions or doing design? Ma Duong immediately replied, it looks like they're playing games. After hearing this, Bui Kim breathed a sigh of relief. Then he walked over and said, Are you sure you didn't see wrong? Huang Sibo is playing games. Ma Duong said in surprise, That's right. That's why I came to report it to you. Isn't what they're doing basically wasting company resources? How about we remind them a little? After hearing this, Bui Kim immediately raised his hand to stop him. No need. Old Ma, we are a game company. Employees playing games is also for the sake of learning, to study the advanced experience of outstanding foreign games. At the same time, our Bui Kim thought inwardly, as long as they're not working, it's fine. The more snacks they eat and the more electricity and water they use, the better. They're helping me spend system funds. Very good, very good. At this moment, Ma Duong was as dazed as a deer in headlights. So you mean we should ignore this? Then our Bui Kim walked coldly to the director's desk. He slammed his hand on the desk with a bang and said loudly and decisively, How could we ignore it? We at Dang that are a company that always thinks of our employees. National regulations state that employees must receive extra pay for overtime. We at Dang that must respond to national policy. Overtime on ordinary days will be paid at 1.5 times the base salary. Overtime on weekends will be paid at twice the base salary. Not a single yuan can be underpaid. As he spoke, he immediately typed and printed out a list. Then he handed it to bowl-cut Ma Duong and said, Old Ma, I'm entrusting you with this important task. Record the amount of time they work overtime each day. When the time comes, calculate their extra pay by the hour. Not a single yuan can be missing. Ma Duong held the list in his hands and walked out, completely dazed. Then Bui Kim sat back in his chair, his face filled with smug satisfaction. Why didn't I think of overtime pay before? I really am a genius. Hee hee. At noon the next day, in the company office, all the employees were eating lunch while playing games with extreme focus. Suddenly, Huang Sibo walked to Bui Kim's director's office, knocked on the door, and said, President Bui, it's me, Huang Sibo. Bui Kim also agreed to let him in. Then blonde-haired Sibo entered and handed a report to Bui Kim, saying, President Bui, these are the invoices for the resources we currently need to purchase online. Please take a look. Bui Kim replied calmly, All right. Very good. Sit down. Huang Sibo then added, I carefully controlled the budget and found some high-end resources with good quality and reasonable prices. There shouldn't be any problem, right? After looking at it for a while, our Bui Kim became extremely angry. Huh? Only 670,000 yuan? That's too little. This is a proper PC game. Yet you're only spending 7 or 800,000 on game resources, functions, and commission design? Take it back and redo it. Double the budget for me. Our Bui Kim was going crazy inside as he thought, No, no, no. If we spend so little, when will I ever use up the system funds? This is infuriating. Meanwhile, Huang Sibo was utterly shocked and terrified. Yes, yes, President Bui. I'll revise it immediately. Oh, right, President Bui. There's one more issue. It's the name of this game. Bao Su said he wants to call it Sea Fortress. I think the name feels a bit strange, but I don't know what it should be called. Why don't you decide the game's name? After hearing this, our Bui Kim thought to himself, Sea Fortress? Why does that name sound so familiar? Right, this name is quite similar to the title of a street movie from before I transmigrated. Suddenly, he slammed his hand on the desk and roared, Damn it, Sea Fortress! That name sounds great. Use this name. I like it. Huang Sibo wondered whether this guy had just taken something because he was acting so insanely. Yes, yes. Then I'll go revise the budget immediately. Our Bowie Keem then put both hands behind his head, crossed his legs, and thought happily. Some people probably don't understand what it means for a 300 million investment to evaporate completely at the box office within a month. Usually, we call that a super VIP professional level ruinous disaster. If that movie could lose everything so thoroughly, then this name should be enough to bankrupt my game company all the way to the grave. Ha ha. Friday, November 29th. A workday at the company was still the same as usual, with every employee at a computer playing games to their heart's content. Suddenly, someone came over and placed a stack of documents in front of a man in a white shirt, saying, "Hey, little Lou, there are a few issues with these functions. Go revise them." The young man picked them up and replied, "All right, Brother Huang. I'll revise them right away." Sibo then patted him on the shoulder and said, "For the controls, learn more from Brother Bao. He's the #1 challenger, after all." Then Sibo picked up the report, sighed, and muttered to himself. The resource purchase budget increased from 700,000 to 1.2 million, and now it's risen to 1.5 million. It just keeps going up. Then he sat down at his computer and thought, President Bowie has never blamed me before. If I don't make this game well, I truly won't be worthy of President Bowie's kindness in training me. Suddenly, his phone rang with a message. The young man turned to look and was so startled he nearly jumped out of his skin. Huh? My salary was paid? Isn't today only the 29th? Don't normal companies pay this month's salary next month? I heard that companies paying salaries at the beginning of the month are already extremely rare. Wait, this amount, could it have been sent by mistake? I started work around the 5th, so it hasn't even been a full month yet. Unable to understand, Sibo called the director's secretary over to ask, "Sister Xin, sorry to bother you. Sister Xin, was my salary calculated incorrectly? My total salary is only 4,000. After deducting insurance contributions, how could it be over 5,000? After hearing this, she smiled beautifully and said, "There's no mistake. It really is that much. It includes overtime pay." Hearing this, the young man froze like he had been struck by lightning. Damn, there's overtime pay too? The beautiful Secretary Xen smiled brightly and replied, "Yes. And not just you. Everyone who worked overtime received extra pay. You probably worked around 50 hours of overtime at the company, right? Overtime pay is 1.5 times the base salary. After deducting insurance contributions, income tax, and so on, that's the amount left." At this moment, Sibo's mouth hung open, and he stood rooted to the spot. The group of people who had been buried in games at the company around the clock were also utterly shocked. "Oh my God, it's true. I also received overtime pay." The young man in the white shirt felt extremely ashamed. I never expected President Bowie to care about us this much. On the other side, tears streamed down Bao Su's cheeks as he said, "So President Bowie knew everything." Huang Sibo was so moved that he cried like a storm. President Bowie knew we ignored his orders and stayed behind to work overtime. Not only did he not blame us, he even silently transferred overtime pay into our accounts. Everyone keep it up. For President Bowie, we must make this game as good as possible. All the employees then shouted wildly in response, "Fighting! Fighting! We definitely will." The scene shifted to the director's office. At this moment, our young Bowie Keem was falling into depression as he thought, "Good Lord, why haven't I used up the system funds yet?" The money for purchasing art resources had been divided into two parts. One part had been paid last week, and the other part was only paid this week. The office rent and employee salaries had also all been paid. Adding in all kinds of miscellaneous expenses, he had finally managed, with great difficulty, to spend almost all of the system funds. But there were still 2 months left before the next settlement, and Ghost General was still earning a lot of money. Hearing this, everyone lay helplessly on the desks. Spending money quickly was truly a difficult subject. Was there any way to spend money quickly? Suddenly, one Bowie Keem spoke up. "What about team building? After hearing this, everyone was startled and opened their eyes. Team building. Then the five of them began discussing noisily. More than 30 people going out to eat together. Even if each person costs 1 or 200, the total would still be several thousand. Team building works. Let's organize team building. Just leave it to Assistant XIN to arrange. It'll definitely be fine. And so was decided. Once he said it, he did it. Our buoy team, called the Beautiful Assistant XIN, arrange a team-building event at the end of this month. Plan the itinerary. She immediately replied, "Yes, President Bowie. Please go ahead." Bowie Keem propped his chin on both hands and said, "I plan to take the company employees to Yong City. We'll go there for a visit, exchange, and learning trip. The trip doesn't need to be too long. About 5 days is enough. During those 5 days, we'll visit one company each day for exchange and learning. It would be best to find large-scale game companies, especially FPS companies. The company will cover all airfare, accommodation, and meal expenses. Draw up an itinerary and estimate how much it will cost." At the same time, Bowie Keem was scheming inwardly, thinking this time, no matter what, it should cost more than a dozen times 200,000. Although it's just a grain of sand in the Eastern Sea, if this team-building trip can burn through that much, it'll be good enough. Ha ha ha. After hearing that, Assistant XIN smiled and replied, "All right, President Bowie. I'll arrange everything properly for you." The scene shifts to the leisure and recreation area of Dang Dat Company. A group of employees were playing games for fun when one of them suddenly said, "Are we really going to Yong City for a visit and learning trip?" A guy in a blue shirt replied, "It's probably true. I heard Assistant XIN is already preparing to book the tickets. I've never seen any company take its employees to other companies for exchange and learning before." A group of other employees nearby also started discussing it. "One trip will definitely cost quite a lot of money. If I had to pay for it myself, I'd definitely feel the pinch." Exactly. Our company's benefits are seriously too good. Which companies are we visiting this time? Heavenly Harmony Company should be one of them, right? The young man in the white shirt immediately replied, "Definitely. Heavenly Harmony Company is so famous, and it's strong in FPS games too. It's perfect for us to go learn from them." After hearing that, Huang Sibo sighed and said, "Everyone, you still need to work hard. Don't put all your thoughts on Yong City." The guy in the white shirt scratched his head and smiled awkwardly as he replied, "Brother Huang, we've never been to Yong City before. Besides, getting to visit a famous company like Heavenly Harmony is making us a little excited." "That's right, Brother Huang. Don't worry. We'll finish our work with guaranteed quality." Exactly, the efficiency and quality will absolutely be perfect. A while later, in Bowie Keem's office, he was looking at the report, utterly shocked. "Huh? Less than 150,000 yuan?" Assistant XIN immediately replied, "Everything was calculated according to business standards. The time is the end of December, as you requested. Considering that some people may be unwilling to go, I planned the itinerary based on 30 people. The lodging standard is 300 yuan per person, 2 people per room, which is 600 yuan per night. Adding meals, transportation, and some budget for additional employees, that is basically the price." After thinking for a moment, our Bowie Keem spoke up, "Can the plane tickets be changed to first class?" Before he even finished speaking, the system's warning appeared instantly. Damn it, the system really issued a warning. Then he handed the report back to Assistant XIN and said, "All right, proceed according to this price." At the same time, the bored young man thought to himself, "Damn it, only 150,000 can take 30 people to Yong City for a trip? That's way too cheap." Assistant XIN also smiled beautifully and replied, "All right, President Bowie. Then I'll go contact the companies." Over there, the scene shifts to a short time later in Yong City, at Heavenly Harmony Company. This guy who looked rather effeminate was Zhou Mayan, the general manager of Heavenly Harmony Company. Finding it strange, he asked who? Dang Dat Technology Network Company, Limited? They want to come to Yong City and visit our company for exchange? The female employee also replied, "Yes, President Zhou." After hearing that, Zhou Mayan was shocked and thought, "Damn, There's actually a game company organizing employees to visit another company? Then the female employee added, President Joe, Ghost General was made by this company. Shock after shock left him completely dumbfounded. Huh? They made Ghost General? Yes, President Joe. If you don't have time, you can ask Brother Sun to receive them. After all, showing them around the company won't take much time. At this moment, Mayan lifted his chin and thought, Ghost General is a very popular mobile game recently. The person who created it is probably no ordinary figure. Meeting and getting acquainted would seem pretty good. Then he said, all right, agree to it. Arrange the date and time first. When the time comes, I'll receive them personally. Then she held a list and handed it to Mayan, saying, yes, President Joe, there's one more matter. The list of employees to be dismissed for poor performance has been completed. Please take a look. He picked it up, looked it over for a while, then handed it back to her and replied, except for Lin Wan, dismiss everyone else. Just follow the regulations. At this moment, her eyes went wide with extreme surprise. Why keep Lin Wan? A while later, Zhou Mayan leaned back in his chair and sighed. Why keep Lin Wan? Then he began recalling the phone call from before. President Lin of Shenhua Group? Hello, I've long heard of you. Please speak. Please go ahead. No matter how difficult it is, I can handle it. Lin Wan is your niece. All right, please rest assured. We will definitely take good care of her. Huh? Find a way to make her resign voluntarily? All right, I understand. Then he sank into deep thought. Shenhua Group, the leading dragon in the country. If I can build a connection with them, it will be very beneficial for the company in the future. Making Lin Wan resign voluntarily won't be hard, but his words carried another meaning. Is he telling me to find a way to destroy his niece's passion for the game industry so that she gives up on this field? That isn't hard either. I just need to let Lin Wan see the cruel truth of the game industry. Boss, the data is finished. Please take a look. You even filled in such a simple data sheet wrong? Fix it for me immediately. If you don't finish fixing it, don't even think about getting off work. The game industry, at least domestically, has already become a place that sucks people dry. Dismissing whoever has poor performance, the 996 system, giving up dreams for money, turning art into a tool for making money. As long as she sees these truths, she will definitely leave in disappointment. This is as easy as turning over my hand. Ha ha ha. The scene shifts to Friday, December 27th, at a high-end hotel in Yang City. At this moment, Ma Duong and Bui Kim were chatting in a room. Hey, Brother Kim, pretending is exhausting. In front of everyone in the company, I have to pretend I don't know you and call you President Bui whenever I open my mouth. The distance between us is gradually growing because of work. Bui Kim immediately patted Ma Duong on the shoulder and replied, for the company, make a little sacrifice. You are my important eyes and ears in the company. If you discover anything, you must report it to me immediately. After hearing that, the young man was completely dumbfounded. At the same time, our Bui Kim thought to himself, if everyone knows about my relationship with Ma Duong, I'm afraid they'll be guarded against him. Then Ma Duong held his head and replied, you make it sound like I'm an undercover spy. Right, Brother Kim? Everyone seems very interested in Heavenly Harmony Company. Is that company really amazing? Bui Kim also replied, how would I know? Right, tomorrow we'll visit Heavenly Harmony Company first. When the time comes, ask more questions so it won't be too boring. Ma Duong smiled brightly and replied, I understand. After all, Brother Kim is the boss. Asking too many questions would lower your status, so just leave it to me. Ha ha ha. The next morning, on the way to Heavenly Harmony Company, the employees of Dangdat arrived and immediately opened their mouths wide in extreme surprise. Damn, they built their own office building. They definitely aren't short of money. I heard their company once paid 5 months' salary in one go as a bonus. Apparently, their highest year-end bonus last year was a sports car. The two beautiful, curvy receptionists nearby were taking the chance to snap selfies for social media before doing anything else. At the same time, Bui Kim was thinking to himself, building such a large place must have cost quite a lot of money, right? Unexpectedly, Assistant Xian walked out with a man in a white shirt. "Hello, President Bowie." Finding it strange, he asked Assistant Xian, "The person behind you is?" The man in the white shirt immediately smiled brightly, reached out his hand, and greeted him. "You must be President Bowie, correct?" "Hello. I'm a reception staff member in charge from Heavenly Harmony Company. My name is Sun Shi. Today I will be responsible for showing everyone around. If there is anything lacking in our arrangements, please forgive us." Our Bowie Kim immediately replied, "Hello. We'll trouble you to show us around today. Please come this way." Bowie Kim agreed immediately afterward. Inside Heavenly Harmony Company, at this moment, General Manager Zhou Mayan had styled his hair into a ponytail-like look, making him appear rather young and reckless. He was thinking to himself, they should be here soon, right? The hairstyle I worked so hard on should still look fine. Then the whole group began walking in. Sun Shi, in his white shirt, immediately reached out and introduced them. "President Zhou, President Bowie of Deng, that company has arrived." Then the two leaders shook hands warmly and said, "Hello, I've long heard of you." Mayan was suddenly startled and thought to himself, "Damn, that custom-made suit must have cost at least 5 figures. He's so young, he must be from a wealthy family." Then Sun Shi smiled amicably and said, "Everyone, please follow me. I'll take you around for a tour. This is our recording area. Ahead is the recording studio. Music and sound effects are all produced here. This side is the training room. We regularly organize game design knowledge lessons for interns. Over here are some of the company's products. This set of code was previously worn by a celebrity invited to endorse the game. This area is our leisure and recreation area. The snacks over there may be freely used." After looking it over, Huang Sibo thought to himself, "Damn, just one television and one PC, and this is called a recreation area? Add in a small sofa set like this, and it's called a rest area? A few bags of chips and some packs of snacks, plus a sign saying, 'Use in moderation,' and this is called a snack area? It really is too shabby. With only this much, it truly falls far short of our company." On the other side, General Manager Zhou Mayan was frozen stiff, completely unable to understand what was going on. He thought to himself, "What the hell is this? What's wrong with the people from Dangdat? Why is there no reaction at all? Our company clearly has the top-tier VIP facilities in Yang City. A recreation room, and even a rest area, a big television, soft sofas, and free drinks and snacks too. I remember everyone used to envy our company's working environment and want to work here." While the atmosphere was strangely silent, Ma Duong, with his bowl-cut hair, suddenly spoke up. "Everyone, take a good look. This is the recreation area, and there's even a place to rest. This huge television. I think we have 3 or 4 of them at our place. And this sofa is a little hard to sit on, but it's still okay." After hearing that, Zhou Mayan and Sun Shi broke out in cold sweat and thought, "Damn, what is he saying? Don't domestic game companies all follow the 996 policy? Are these people joking?" Then Huang Sibo gave a bland smile and said, "It looks pretty decent." Ma Duong added from the side, "Domestically speaking, this is a pretty good working environment with decent benefits. Also, with so many people working overtime in the office, the monthly overtime pay must be quite a lot, right?" After hearing that, young General Manager Zhou Mayan's face froze like a brick, full of question marks, unable to understand what was going on. "Are you kidding me? The game industry has overtime pay? Doesn't everyone follow the 996 system?" At this moment, our Bowie Kim pulled back the innocent Ma Duong and whispered angrily, "Stop asking. I told you to ask questions, not to wreck the place. Did I travel all this way just to make enemies with him?" Then Huang Sibo scratched his head and explained, "He's new to the industry, so please don't laugh at him." Sun Shi gave a faint smile and replied, "Then let's continue. The experience sharing session has already been arranged. Please follow me, everyone." A while later, Sun Shi led the whole group to visit the work area. The walkway was only about 3 floor tiles wide, so everyone was extremely surprised. At this moment, a young man with glasses turned toward the blonde-haired Huang Sibo and whispered, "This workplace really is cramped." Huang Sibo immediately replied, "Haha, it's all right." In his heart, he was thinking, It's not that heavenly harmony is cramped. It's that dang that is too spacious. Young Zhou Mayan also heard this and was extremely startled. He thought to himself, damn, seriously? This is cramped? Is that guy serious? Aren't most companies like this? Is he joking? A while later, everyone arrived at a fairly large conference hall. Sun Shi also spoke up and announced, next, let us invite Mr. Huang Sibo, the planning team leader of Dang, that technology network company, Limited, to share with us the successful experience of Ghost General. Please give him a warm welcome. Everyone below immediately applauded wildly. Up on stage, our Huang Sibo spoke somewhat awkwardly. First, I would like to clarify to everyone that I did not participate in the production of Ghost General. However, during my time after joining Dangdat Company, I have also devoted myself to studying the game Ghost General. Personally, I believe I have gained a slight understanding of President Bowie's design artistry. In my view, the success of Ghost General mainly has three reasons. First, pursuing game quality and boldly taking risks with a new style. President Bowie poured nearly half the capital into investing in art resources and even decisively invited new artists, creating a brand new style that was warmly welcomed by everyone. All of this is thanks to President Bowie's far-sighted vision and top-level aesthetic standards. Second, healthy in-game spending. The entirety of Ghost General only requires 40 yuan. Compared with most other card games, this won the affection and respect of players. The policy of small profits but high sales volume also caused the game's purchases and reputation to soar. Third, pouring all funds into game development. Through simple advertising, President Bowie cleverly spread Ghost General from the artist circle into the gaming circle. Suddenly, Huang Sibo slapped the table and said decisively, I believe this can be considered a classic case of marketing worthy of careful study. After hearing that, our Bowie Keem smiled stiffly and thought to himself, damn, why does he make it sound so good? How come even I didn't know I had thought that way back then? On stage, Huang Sibo saw this and smiled happily to himself. Ha ha ha. President Bowie is nodding and smiling secretly. It seems my judgment of President Bowie's original design intentions is correct. This proves that I am gradually catching up to President Bowie's pace. Then Sun Shi said, thank you, Mr. Huang, for your sharing. Next, let us invite President Zhou of our Heavenly Harmony Company to come up and share with everyone. At this moment, Director Zhou Mayan turned toward our Bowie Keem and thought, damn, pouring all capital into game development, not leaving a single cent for publicity, taking a risk by hiring new artists, using an entirely new style, and changing the traditional profit model of card games. He truly is young and talented. Although this President Bowie is still quite young, he really has guts. Then Zhou Mayan stepped onto the stage and said confidently, we are developing an FPS game called Bullet Marks. Our goal is to surpass Counterterrorism Plan. The most important thing in an FPS game is feel. FPS players are mostly very picky. Therefore, Bullet Marks strives to simulate the feel based on the original Counterterrorism Plan. We guarantee that the feel can be made 90% similar. At the same time, we are also continuously innovating in the art style. We have even invited professional military experts to inspect the firearms and clothing. Finally, we plan to adopt a free-to-play model with paid add-ons, striving to create a revenue miracle for an FPS project. After hearing that, Huang Sibo was startled and thought in panic, damn, this is bad. Why is Bullet Mark's path so similar to Sea Fortress? I'm afraid the old rival counterterrorism plan will still have more of an advantage compared with Sea Fortress and Bullet Marks. Then what if these two games clash when the time comes? Suddenly, Huang Sibo looked toward our Bowie Keem and discovered that he was smiling as brightly as a flower. Huh? Why is President Bowie still smiling? Could it be that President Bowie deliberately came to Heavenly Harmony Company to confirm their approach? Now that he is certain Bullet Marks will fail, is that why he is smiling so calmly and confidently? As expected, a true hero is this impressive. In reality, at this moment, our Bowie Keem was thinking to himself, It's exactly as I predicted. Based on Zhou Mayan's approach, as long as there is a direct clash, Sea Fortress will definitely be beaten miserably by bullet marks. Ha 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 ha. Then the two general managers shook hands. Bowie Kim spoke first, saying, truly extremely perfect. This has really broadened my horizons. Zhou Mayan replied, you flatter me. You flatter me. President Bowie, you are extraordinarily gifted and young, yet accomplished. I truly admire you. President Bowie, I still have some matters to handle, so I'll take my leave first. Bowie Kim also replied, President Zhou, go ahead and take care of your work. Thank you very much. Then our Bowie Kim was just about to turn and leave, when suddenly a clear voice rang out. President Bowie, please wait a moment. He turned around and discovered a lovely girl as pretty as a flower, her eyes sparkling as she said, Hello, President Bowie. I'm Lin Van. May I take a few minutes of your time to ask you a few questions? Seeing a beautiful girl, he immediately agreed. Of course. Then the girl lifted her chin and said, President Bowie, the primary purpose of a game is to make money, right? After hearing that, he immediately put on a cold, cool guy expression and replied, I believe the primary purpose of a game is to bring joy to the players. In his heart, he was secretly thinking, actually for me, the primary purpose is to lose money. At that moment, Lin Wan smiled beautifully and asked, Then, President Bowie, your company probably doesn't have an elimination system, does it? He immediately replied, No. Every employee is family to me. We grow together and improve together. How could I casually discard or eliminate anyone? At the same time, he muttered inwardly, If I wanted to eliminate anyone, I'd eliminate the hard-working employees. How could I possibly eliminate the useless rookies? After hearing that, she rushed toward him excitedly and asked further, Then, do the employees at President Bowie's company work overtime? At this moment, his face flushed with embarrassment as he replied, I'm working very hard to chase everyone home, but some people still insist on staying voluntarily, so I have no choice but to pay them overtime. Finding this strange, Lin Wan asked, Then, President Bowie, do you make games only to fulfill your own dream of games? Our Bowie Kim smiled until his eyes narrowed and replied, No, actually, I mainly do it for money. Seeing how humorous he was, she covered her mouth and giggled as she replied, You really do love joking. If it were truly for money, you could absolutely raise Ghost General's price tenfold. I know you're a person with ideals. I understand now. President Bowie, thank you for taking the time to answer my questions. Thank you. After saying that, she bowed to him, turned around, and slowly walked away. At that moment, our general manager Bowie Kim was as blank as a deer in headlights, not understanding what had just happened. How strange. Who exactly was that girl? The next morning, at Heavenly Harmony Company, our Lin Wan brought some document to General Manager Zhou Mayan. Finding it strange, he asked, What is this? She immediately replied, President Zhou, I've made up my mind. I want to resign. After hearing that, he laughed with immense delight in his heart. Yes, finally, she's seen through the bitterness of the gaming industry and decided to go back and inherit her trillion-yuan family fortune. But on the surface, he put on a cold expression and said, Do you want to leave the gaming industry? Lin Wan immediately replied, No, on this side. Mayan rolled his eyes, completely unable to understand. At the same time, he thought, What the heck? You don't want to leave the gaming industry, but you want to resign? What does this mean? Are you saying you don't like my place? Feeling utterly confused, Zhou Mayan asked again, What's wrong? Is there something about the work here that you're dissatisfied with? Then she looked outside and smiled faintly as she replied, Thank you, President Zhou, for always taking care of me. However, I feel that here, I can't pursue my dream of making games. I plan to move somewhere else. On Thursday, January 7th, 2010, our Bowie Kim was at Dangdat Company. He walked over to the blonde-haired Huang Sibo and said, How is Sea Fortress progressing? Do you need to extend it by another week? At this moment, Sibo replied decisively, No need, President Bowie. Don't worry. We've tested it many times. Every bug we found in the game has been fixed. The game can be released at any time. After hearing that, our Bowie Keem's crotch and armpits were both drenched in sweat. The young man was secretly thinking, holy crap, you're that confident? Has this game really been completed in both quality and quantity? But outwardly, he had to put on his act, smiling brightly like a flower as he replied, good, then. Show me the story mode and the epic weapon. Sibo then agreed and opened it once. Yes, President Bowie, I'll show you right away. This is our story mode. Players need to fight from the lowest level of Sea Fortress all the way to the top. The entire story takes about 6 hours. The main content is fighting zombies and mercenaries, while also including some simple puzzle-solving elements. This is the dazzling epic weapon, the Fire Chilin, which we're preparing to launch this month. According to your request, the permanent use selling price is 888 yuan. After watching it, our young Bowie Keem was startled, as if an electric current had passed through his body. Damn it, what is this? The setting of this game is nothing like what I imagined. Why does it look so premium? Are you kidding me? Who told him to make the game look this good? It's really good looking, do you know that? But wait, I remember now. Back then, I was the one who told him to buy more expensive game assets. In that case, fine, but this is also good. The painstaking and annoying story mode is already on the chopping block, and the 888 yuan Fire Chilin is also here. Suddenly, Sibo spoke up. President Bowie, the game is still missing a few other modes. Should I introduce them to you briefly? Bowie Keem immediately raised his hand to stop him and replied with a faint smile, no need. Prepare it and submit it directly to the authorities for approval. After that, Bowie Keem walked outside and thought with a cunning smile. Besides, Bullet Marks has also entered the market. When the time comes, my game will definitely be suppressed so badly it won't be able to raise its head. Ha 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 ha. A while later, in the general manager's office, our Bowie Keem opened the system panel to take a look. His current funds had 138,754 yuan remaining, having decreased by 361,245 yuan. Seeing this, he leaned back in his chair and let out a sigh of relief. Finally, the system funds have decreased by a considerable amount. I never expected spending money to be this difficult. I am exhausted. To guard against unexpected events, I'll hold another round of team building and spend as much as possible of the remaining few hundred thousand. The lower the balance, the better. Once he said he would do it, he immediately called the beautiful assistant Xin over. As soon as she opened the door and entered, Bowie Keem began instructing her. Assistant Xin, arrange this for me. Tomorrow afternoon, we'll celebrate the completion of Sea Fortress and hold a team-building event. We'll watch a movie first, then go eat, and finally sing karaoke and party however we like. If we can book the whole place, book it all. Finding this strange, she asked, tomorrow afternoon? I think tomorrow is Friday. He replied, if I use the employees' rest time to organize team-building entertainment, they probably won't blame me, right? Then Assistant Xin replied, yes, President Bowie. There's one more thing. Do you still remember the girl named Lin, one who asked you questions when we went to Heavenly Harmony Company? Finding this strange, he asked back, Lin Wan? What's the matter? She has come to Jingzhou and wants to work at our company. Her attitude is very determined, and she says she doesn't need a salary. She's in the small meeting room right now. I've just received her. After hearing that, he fell in a deep thought. Doesn't need a salary? How can that be? I absolutely don't want this. Then Bowie Keem asked, Assistant Xin, what do you think of her? She also replied, President Bowie, I think she may have an extraordinary background. She's probably some wealthy young lady. There's no problem with her character, but I'm a little worried that she might be too naive. Hearing this, Bowie Keem immediately felt delighted inside. A foolish, rich young lady. In other words, her work ability isn't much good, right? She fits my hiring standards very well. Good. Then he raised his hand and replied, then hire her. Set her initial salary at 4,000 yuan per month for now. Don't arrange any work for her yet. Just let her do whatever she wants. Outside, our beautiful Lin Wan was very anxious. not knowing whether Bowie Kim would accept her. Then Assistant Exine walked out, held up the notice, and said, "Congratulations. President Bowie has agreed. Once you sign this contract, you'll become a formal employee of Dangdat, with a monthly salary of 4,000 yuan. Is that all right?" After hearing that, Lin Wan's eyes sparkled like countless stars, and she was extremely happy. Yes, anything is fine. But may I ask, what will my job be?" Assistant Xian hesitated and replied, "Your job, well, is to come to the team-building event at 2 tomorrow afternoon. Watch a movie, eat, sing karaoke, and have fun with everyone." After hearing that, Lin Wan froze on the spot, completely unable to understand. Why does this job feel so strange? On the morning of Monday, January 11th, the blonde-haired Sibo suddenly walked over to Bao Su and said, "Hey, Brother Bao, you've seen Sea Fortress's data too, right?" At this moment, Bao Su's expression was extremely gloomy as he replied, "It's far too little. It was submitted for review on Friday, passed on Saturday, and today is already Monday, but there have only been a few hundred downloads." Finding this strange, Huang Sibo asked, "Brother Bao, tell me, is it because President Bowie insists on not doing any marketing? I searched all over the web and didn't find any advertisements." Bao Su replied, "I think we just need to trust President Bowie completely. President Bowie didn't instruct us to handle advertising, so there's no need to worry about it." Then Sibo pulled over a chair and continued, "You're right. How could a genius like President Bowie need us to worry? Of course. Brother Bao, now we should prepare the development plan for the next version. What content do you think we should make?" After hearing that, Bao Su replied, "A development plan for the next version? Otherwise, the project team won't have anything to do. We really should prepare one. But I don't know what problem we should work on." The blonde-haired Sibo also replied, "The main thing is that I can't think of what we should do. Either we fix bugs in the game, or we make new content. Right now, players have only just started playing, and there haven't been any bug reports. As for new content, the current content is already plentiful enough. There's no need to design new gameplay or new maps. So, I think we should find some core players to come experience the game, collect their opinions and suggestions, and then continue optimizing it." Bao Su immediately asked, "But where do we find them? Besides, if we ask them to test the game, won't that cost money?" Huang Sibo scratched his head and replied awkwardly, "That's exactly the problem I need to think about." A while later, while Sibo was trying to find a way, suddenly, a bespectacled young man spoke up. "Brother Huang, how about I find some gamer groups for counterterrorism plan, sneak in, and try talking to the admins?" Huang Sibo immediately replied with a faint smile, "Forget it. If you go into someone else's game group to advertise, it'd be strange if you didn't get kicked out right away." The young man also scratched his head and replied, Yes. Then forget it." Just as they were bored to death, Lin Wan suddenly slipped over and said, "I have a way to contact a few admins of FPS game enthusiast groups, the kind with over 1,000 members." After hearing that, Sibo was extremely surprised. "Oh, really? Then can we ask them to help a little?" Lin Wan smiled adorably until her eyes narrowed and replied, "Of course. I'm very close with them." Finding this strange, Huang Sibo asked, "How do you know so many admins of FPS game enthusiast groups? You don't look like someone who likes FPS games." At this moment, Lin Wan smiled beautifully and replied, When I was previously interning at Heavenly Harmony Company, the Bullet March project development team specially found a group of FPS gamers to serve as testers. I was responsible for communicating and staying in contact with them." The scene shifted to a short while later, an apartment complex. At this moment, a young man in black clothes with a spiky blonde buzz cut was playing a game very attentively. His name was Chunyu. It seemed that he was playing a shooter. Suddenly, a message from Lin Wan arrived. "Brother Chun, there's something very important. Help me test this game." Chunyu replied, "Hasn't Bullet Marks already finished all its testing and started preparing for launch? It still needs late-stage testing." The conversation was imaginatively shifted to a grand courtroom. Lin Wan continued, "It's not Bullet Marks. It's another game. Ah, I haven't told you yet. I've already resigned from Heavenly Harmony Company. Finding this strange, Chunyu asked, "You resigned right after the game was released? That's pretty amazing. I heard that after the game launches, the employees in the development department get big bonuses. Are you looking down on money?" Lin Wan immediately raised her hand and retorted, "What bonus? That's not important. The company I'm currently working for is much stronger than Heavenly Harmony. Anyway, stop chatting and hurry up and help me test this game." On this side, Chinyu also crossed his arms and replied, "Fine. Same price as over at Heavenly Harmony, right? 500 yuan per test." After hearing that, our little Lin Wan smiled until her eyes narrowed and replied, "Hey, that won't be happening. But after testing, you'll receive a limited edition Desert Eagle in the game as a reward." At this moment, the young Chunyu was furious and pointed as he said, "This new company of yours is way too stingy. You want me to help but won't pay a single cent? Trying to get something for nothing?" Lin Wan immediately raised her hand to explain, No. I swear on my character that this company is not stingy at all. How about this? Apart from the limited edition Desert Eagle, I'll also give you an epic weapon for lifetime use." The young Chunyu became even angrier and cursed wildly. "What the hell is that? Are you crazy? Who wants weapons from that game? Besides, how much could a lifetime epic weapon be worth? 1 or 200 yuan would be enough to buy everything permanently." Lin Wan then raised her chin and replied, "As far as I know, the lifetime weapon in the game is sold for 888 yuan. After hearing that, the young man spat out all the cola he had just drunk. "What? How much did you say?" 888 yuan. Is that in-game currency or real money?" Lin Wan replied, "Real money, of course." Hee. At this moment, Chinyu thought he had misread it and even picked up the screen to look more clearly. With an expression of utter shock, he added, "One epic weapon selling for 888 yuan? That's daylight robbery. Why don't they just go rob people instead?" The young man was so curious that he immediately downloaded it to try. Holy crap, Sea Fortress. Why does just looking at the name make me feel like most of this game is going to be terrible? Then he made himself a cup of instant noodles and entered the game right afterward. Not bad, not bad. The game interface is pretty okay. Huh, the entire shop only sells one weapon, and there are no other payment points at all? Isn't this basically giving the game away for free from the start? But the Fire Cheelant's attributes aren't anything special either. The Versus mode has quite a few new ways to play. What is Bio-Ghost mode? I've never seen this before. Holy crap, there's even a story? They invested that much effort into it. Although I don't have much hope, since there's a story mode, I might as well try it. As soon as he clicked to play, the young man, his eyes half closed and drowsy, heard two men in white clothes holding guns talking. Is this guy dead? Don't know. Looks like he's still barely breathing, but since he's infected with Virus B, he's as good as dead. Okay, just leave him there. Then, after waiting for the two men to leave, Chinyu woke up in a cold sweat and said, "Damn, why is this game so eerie and mysterious? Where am I? I am exhausted." Then he turned around and discovered an enormous pile of corpses. He slowly struggled to his feet with great difficulty. "Sorry, buddy, whoever you are. Let me step over you to get out." A moment later, his character finally crawled out of the enormous, foul-smelling pile of corpses. At this moment, he was clutching his stomach, not knowing what to do, when suddenly, a system panel appeared with basic instructions. Move the mouse to look around. Use the WASD keys to move left, right, forward, and back. Holy crap, this game even made a proper tutorial for beginners. That's pretty polished. Then he walked to the door and was about to open it, thinking to himself, crap, is there going to be some final boss suddenly jumping out from inside? Unexpectedly, as soon as he opened it, a terrifying bald zombie with red eyes was already standing there. Then, as fast as lightning, the zombie lunged over and bit him hard on the neck. The young man was in so much pain that he yelled, ah, several times, then used both hands to throw the zombie down. "Damn it, you bastard. You dare sneak attack me." Then Shinyu immediately pulled out a handgun and aimed it straight at the zombie's head. "You rude bastard. I'll send you to the afterlife with physics right now." After he said that, an extremely loud bang rang out, and the bald zombie instantly met its end. The young man clutched his shoulder in pain and thought to himself, "Did this game trick me?" It said it was an FPS, but it turns out it's basically designed like a horror game. It's really scary. Then he suddenly knelt down and collapsed onto the ground. "Huh, I was bitten by a zombie, so I got poisoned? Is it over already?" Suddenly, a girl quietly walked over to him. Who is this little girl? What does she want to do?" Then she used an enormous syringe and began drawing blood from her own body. The little girl's expression was filled with pain as she sobbed. Then she injected it into Chunyu. Seeing this, he could not help exclaiming, "Damn, so that was it?" This little girl's blood could cure the poison in his body. A short while later, he woke up and started speaking every language under the sun. Hello, niao, konnichiwa, annyeonghaseyo. At this point, the little girl was utterly baffled and had no idea what was going on. Then she responded to him with body language. At that moment, he also realized, oh, so the little girl cannot speak. This game was actually getting a little interesting. A while later, young Chun-Yu was completely immersed in the game, shooting with incredible momentum. Feeling delighted, he said, "Holy crap, the gunfire is really stable. The controls are flexible, burst firing is smooth, and the firing and reloading speed are fast. The shooting feels very different from Counterterrorism Plan, but it's really satisfying." The biggest highlight was the design of that little girl. Without her, the whole process would just be fighting and shooting with no plot to speak of. But after the little girl appeared, she brought emotion into the game, and the story mode seemed to be completely revived. After that, young Chun-Yu and the mute little girl fought side by side, shooting all kinds of weapons from six-barrel guns to heavy machine guns and everything else, battling for several hours through every stage. Finally, they even took down the boss and cleared the game. Then he and the girl climbed onto a helicopter and flew back to the mainland with an in-game scene that was incredibly cool and high class. Chun-Yu froze on the spot for 100 seconds, speechless. Then he sent a message into the group chat. "Sea Fortress is absolutely top tier. It's beyond words. Guys, hurry up and go play it." One young man replied with a string of question marks, utterly unable to understand what was going on. The scene then shifted to Bowie Keem's company a short while later. He walked out of the elevator and thought to himself, "At last, it's finally over. I held back for a whole week and still haven't checked the data. But Sea Fortress is definitely dead this time. Ha ha ha. Huh? Why is there no one at the front desk? What's going on?" Bowie Keem then walked inside and discovered that a whole group of employees had blank faces and extremely strange expressions. He immediately thought, looks like the situation is so terrible that they can't accept reality. Even Bao Su isn't in the mood to play games. Looks like he's contemplating life. Everyone here is an employee with no real ability to make games. And recently, if they weren't gathering together, they were on vacation, so they had no time to develop the game. But no matter what, they did pour some thought and emotion into this game. At a time like this, they need a boss like me to enlighten them. Then he walked in, and the two pretty young ladies noticed him. Lin Wan's eyes immediately sparkled like they were full of stars as she said, "Ah, President Bowie is here." Suddenly, all the employees' faces lit up, and they cheered wildly. "President Bowie! President Bowie! Congratulations, President Bowie! Our President Bowie is truly amazing. President Bowie is invincible. President Bowie is #1. After hearing this, the young man was as confused as a fox. "Huh? What's going on?" Suddenly, blonde-haired Huang Sibo walked over, then bowed very respectfully and said, "President Bowie, I have learned so much. In the past, I couldn't understand why you didn't advertise Sea Fortress. Now I understand. You wanted to use reality to tell me that if a game is good, players only need to spread it by word of mouth, and it can become popular on its own." After hearing this, the young man thought to himself, "Oh no, I'm completely done for. Could it really be like this?" At the same time, Bowie Keem asked, "What do you mean?" The game became popular again. Huang Sibo immediately replied with an excited face. It's popular. It's popular. I just refreshed the data page. Whether it's popularity, online player count, or profit, all of them are far above bullet marks. Then Assistant XIN came over holding an enormous bottle of champagne and said, "Here, President Bowie, pop the champagne and celebrate. President Bowie." Then a thunderous bang rang out, and everyone cheered so loudly it hurt the ears. On this side, the two plump receptionists also set off two party poppers with loud bangs and shouted, "Congratulations, President Bowie! Our game is a huge success." Bowie Kim now stood frozen like a stone statue, while everyone around him gradually applauded as if a famous singer had just finished performing. Then young Bowie Kim hurriedly handed the champagne bottle to Sibo and said, "Everyone did very well. Keep up the good work." Meanwhile, Sibo was also thinking to himself, sure enough, everything was within President Bowie's plan. President Bowie had long anticipated what would happen, which is why he isn't excited at all and thinks this is perfectly normal. How domineering. How confident. Hee. Then Bowie Kim slammed the door shut and slipped into his office immediately. At the same time, he thought to himself, for something like this, which requires such careful calculations, how much precise market judgment would it take to pull it off? What the hell? It feels like the script is wrong, doesn't it? Why? I calculated everything so carefully. This should basically have been impossible. This time, there was no Ruan Guangjian actively helping promote it. So where exactly did the problem come from? Then he took out his computer to check, and suddenly he discovered something. Huh? What's with these comments? The people below were all commenting, "I never expected a domestic game to create such a good story. I definitely have to give it 5 stars. Among FPS game story modes, the combat framework is the best." Another person commented, "I think this game feels better to play than Counterterrorism Plan. Thinking about it, no one ever said this was an esports game. Besides, only a few rich players will buy the Fire Chilin in this game. Everything else in this game is completely free, while bullet marks is like trash." Another comment said, "Right now, we're discussing Sea Fortress and Counterterrorism Plan. Anyone who mentions bullet marks must damn well be a paid shill hired by Heavenly Fire Company." A brat replied, "So what if your Sea Fortress leached popularity from our bullet marks? Aren't you embarrassed?" After reading this, Bowie Kim held his head in deep frustration. Damn it, these people are just arguing back and forth. No one can help me clearly analyze why this game became popular. I've got it. I'm the boss. If I can't analyze it, I can just have Huang Sibo analyze it. Outside, a bespectacled young man was talking to blonde-haired Sibo. "Brother Huang, the game topic is getting more and more popular." Sibo replied, "That's right. All the credit belongs to President Bowie." Suddenly, a notification ding rang out. Bowie Kim's message said, "Prepare an analysis report on the factors behind Sea Fortress's success. From design to publicity, every item must be summarized and analyzed. Then send it directly to me." After reading it, Sibo thought to himself, why does President Bowie want this analysis report? The main direction of this game was created by President Bowie. The word-of-mouth advertising strategy was also decided by President Bowie. Clearly, President Bowie wants to help us consolidate our knowledge, absorb experience, and keep improving. A while later, Bowie Kim printed out the report written by Huang Sibo, then immediately convened a meeting inside his mind. Glasses-wearing Bowie Kim read through it. The difficulty was lowered, attracting a large number of ordinary players. The story mode is excellent, and combined with the fact that players like it as a domestic game, it won through good reputation. On this side, Bowie Kim, holding a cup of coffee, continued reading, "The battle modes are rich, and the game has no strict limits, allowing players to avoid pressure from technical skill. The Fire Chilent's 888 yuan pricing strategy satisfies the flaunting desires of rich players, while its stats remain within a controllable range. As for ordinary players, it has the effect of providing additional experience, so it is extremely welcomed by ordinary players." After hearing this, Bowie Kim holding a hammer, slammed the table furiously and said, "But what confuses me even more is that Sea Fortress players and Bullet Marks players are arguing. So why did Sea Fortress become even more popular? This script is completely wrong. So who exactly caused this disaster?" Glasses-wearing Bui Kim replied, "Huang Sibo and Bao Su definitely acted according to our requirements for producing the game." After hearing this, Bui Kim, who was holding the coffee cup, threw it straight at Lin Wan's head. Lin Wan merely followed Huang Sibo's request and found a group of gamers to act as guinea pigs. "I'm so angry I could die." On this side, Bui Kim, holding a game console, also said, "It seems we ourselves decided to go up against Bullet Marks." Then all of them looked at each other, completely dumbfounded. Huh, then could everything be our fault? After that, Bui Kim's face turned as black as the bottom of a pot as he slammed his hand onto the table and said furiously, "Damn it, I have to save myself. I absolutely have to make a loss in this settlement. No one can stop me." Then the young man opened the system panel to take a look. Wealth conversion system. Time remaining until settlement: 2 days. Current system funds: 1,124,355 yuan. Current profit: 624,355 yuan. Personal assets: 708 yuan. After seeing this, he thought to himself, this is still fairly okay. The good news is that Ghost General's revenue has finally started to drop, and it only made over 200,000 yuan this week. The bad news is that Sea Fortress has started making money, earning more than 400,000 yuan in profit this week. According to my arrangements, the servers and capacity for Ghost General and Sea Fortress have already been expanded to the limit. The customer service team has also signed the contract. This time, I've made over 600,000 yuan in profit. According to the profit conversion rate of 100 to 1, 600,000 becomes 6,000 yuan in personal assets. That's 6,000 yuan. Who could stand that? This profit is really like a drop in the bucket. If I want to earn more, I have to make the funds fall below 494,000 yuan. Only then can I guarantee earnings of more than 6,000 yuan. Every time I earn 100 yuan, only 1 yuan reaches my hands. This damned system really makes me furious. Only when I make a loss do I truly make a profit. The profit from Sea Fortress has made my gains even bigger. Originally, I planned to lose 500,000 yuan, but now it's become a super popular game. How infuriating. But forget thinking about that. There's still 2 days until the system settlement. So in these 2 days, I have to think of a way to spend all this money. Then Bui Kim called Assistant Xian in and said, "Assistant Xian, have you adjusted the salary standards?" She replied, "Yes, President Bui. I have done it according to your previous notice. First, the salaries of all employees have been adjusted based on position. Main managers receive a 60% salary increase, while everyone else receives a 30% increase. Next is the implementation of the project bonus system. 15% of a game's profit will become the project bonus and be distributed to all employees who participated in research and development. As for living benefits for employees, each person will receive a 1,000 yuan shopping card every month." At this moment, he was also thinking to himself, damn it, these are already the highest levels the system allows. If I could, I would spend even more. This way, I can spend over 300,000 yuan. Then Assistant Xian added, "The salary should be deposited into their cards today. Do you have any other instructions?" Suddenly, Bui Kim came up with an idea. Salaries? Wait, I just thought of something. I've decided to give everyone a special reimbursement quota, with each cycle lasting 3 months. Each employee can spend 3,500 yuan on office supplies. Finding it strange, the beautiful assistant asked, "President Bui, now that we're giving employees special reimbursement, what exactly does this 3,500 yuan quota cover?" He replied, "This is called special reimbursement. They can freely buy anything related to work. For example, doesn't Bao Su like playing games? He can use this money to buy prepaid cards or equipment. For another example, if an employee needs a high-end headset to better listen to the game's audio quality, which is useful for game production, then he can use that money to buy a new gaming headset. After hearing this, she was stunned with question marks all over her face for several seconds, then replied, "Yes, I understand, President Bowie." A while later, in the company office, Huang Sibo was happily smiling from ear to ear as he thought, Sea Fortress's popularity has completely crushed bullet marks. Back when he was at Heavenly Fire Company, President Bowie must have already anticipated this situation, right? Did he deliberately release it at the same time as bullet marks in order to ride their popularity? President Bowie's vision is truly too incredible. Suddenly, Sibo's phone rang. The message displayed, "Your account received 15,862 yuan in salary at 11:23 on January 29th. After reading it, the young man's eyes nearly popped out in extreme shock. What the hell? Why is my salary so high? Am I seeing things? On this side, the other employees also started speaking up. Holy crap, I got almost 10,000. Damn, I got it too. Why is it so much? Suddenly, Assistant XN walked over and handed each person a shiny golden card, saying, "The card in your hands are shopping cards. Every month, they will have a 1,000 yuan quota, which can be used freely to buy necessary daily supplies. In addition, starting from today, President Bowie has established a special reimbursement system for everyone. Every 3 months, the company can reimburse each of you up to 3,500 yuan. I have sent the specific details of the covered items." Everyone was hit by one surprise after another, their mouths hanging open, completely unable to understand what was happening. On this side, Bao Su sighed emotionally, Everything related to games is reimbursed. Then does that mean I won't have to spend my own money when playing games in the future? The bespectacled young man said, "These things are way beyond our imagination. Overtime pay and project bonuses are all there, and now even game expenses are covered." Huang Sibo's eyes also widened as he replied, "That's right. This really makes us feel embarrassed." Then the plump assistant XIN added, "Everyone, there's no need to feel embarrassed. Pack up a little. We'll get off work at exactly 3 this afternoon. President Bowie will take everyone to the shopping district to celebrate the success of Sea Fortress." A while later, Bowie Kim led an extremely large group of people to the shopping mall, as lively as a festival. After arriving, he began speaking loudly. "Today, we're celebrating the success of Sea Fortress. Everyone has worked hard, so take these rewards and shop to your heart's content." At the same time, he was thinking to himself, originally, the system funds were around 1.1 million yuan. After paying salaries and bonuses, a total of 400,000 was spent. Shopping will cost over 30,000, and if all the special reimbursements are used, that will spend another 100,000. Then he decisively said loudly, "You must spend all of the 1,000 yuan on the shopping cards, and the 3,500 yuan special reimbursement quota must also be used up. If anyone doesn't spend it all, then no one gets to leave." After hearing this, everyone gradually smiled from ear to ear in joy. "Yes, we understand. Thank you so much, President Bowie. He. Then everyone began splitting up and sweeping through the entire shopping mall. Seeing this, Bowie Kim was extremely pleased. "My brothers and sisters, go spend money like crazy to your heart's content. The more you wreck this place, the better. Only by doing this can I get rich sooner. Ha 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 ha." Then all the employees began their shopping spree. One person picked up some clothes and said, "This outfit looks nice. It suits you really well." Another pointed at a high-end handheld game console and said, Nice. This has been my dream for so long." The female employees on this side picked up lipstick and makeup products, sighing in admiration, Wow, this lipstick is really pretty. This color could be used both for work and going out. So pretty. Bao Su excitedly walked over to a keyboard stand, and a young salesman in a white shirt happily introduced, "This is Alien's newest mechanical keyboard. If you buy it today, you can participate in our lucky draw." After hearing this, Bao Su immediately decided, "Okay, then I'll buy this one." Bowie Kim was secretly watching a phone counter and thinking to himself, "Hurry up and buy. Hurry up and spend all the money. Spend it all. Ha ha ha." Lin Wan, standing nearby, noticed him and had no idea what was wrong with him. What's going on with President Bowie? Then Bowie Kim looked extremely angry as he thought to himself, damn it, I'm seriously furious. This group's desire to shop is too superficial. I have to find a new way. Then a bespectacled young man picked up an iPhone G9 priced at 3,999 yuan, the best and most expensive model in the store, to test it. Suddenly, Bowie Kim walked over and said, "Do you like it? If you like it, buy it." After hearing this, the young man replied awkwardly, President Bowie, I'm just looking. Besides, I feel like my phone can still be used for another year. Also, 3,999 yuan is a little expensive. After hearing this, Bowie Kim said coldly, expensive? Use the special reimbursement and buy it for me right now. The young man was so frightened that he jumped. Huh, this can also be covered by special reimbursement? President Bowie, a phone has nothing to do with work. With work, Bowie Kim immediately replied. How is it not related? In the future, we'll have to work on mobile games too. We might even make a new version of Ghost General. What's wrong with buying a phone for testing? After hearing this, the young man broke out in a cold sweat and stammered, but, before he could finish, Bowie Kim added, what buts? Look at that G6 of yours. It looks so shabby and awful it's unbearable. It's about to fall apart from lagging. Using a phone like that clearly slows down work efficiency. The special reimbursement limit is 3,500. If you use the shopping cart for the rest, won't that be enough? Hurry up and replace it. Only with a new phone can you get a good weapon quickly. The young man was so frightened that he could only agree obediently. Yes, President Bowie. I'll buy one right away. After that, Bowie Kim looked over at blonde-haired Huang Sibo, stroked his chin, and said, I think your phone should be replaced too, right? Huang Sibo gave a faint smile and replied, no need, President Bowie. I just changed my phone a little over 2 months ago. After hearing this, Bowie Kim rushed over like a wild beast, glared at him, and said, I remember your phone is the student edition. How can that possibly meet the work requirements of a big company like ours? Hurry up and replace it. Huang Sibo was so terrified that he froze like a stone statue and replied, Yes. I'll go look at a few models and buy one right away. A while later, Ma Yang was standing in front of a high-end noise-canceling headset priced at 2,999 yuan. Suddenly, a voice rang out beside him. I remember your headset is the cheap kind from a street stall that costs just over 20 yuan, right? This latest headset costs 2,999 yuan. Take it right away. Its sensitivity is completely different. After hearing this, Ma Yang was startled. His mouth fell open as he stammered. Brother Kim, no, President Bowie, but my current work has nothing to do with headsets. Our Bowie Kim was startled too, suddenly remembering that. Then he pulled Ma Yang's hand over, placed the headset into a bag, and said, then prepare for your next job. In the future, you may have to communicate with employees and make requirements about music and sound effects. If you don't have a good pair of headphones and can't tell whether the music and effects sent over by the other company are good or bad, what will we do? Ma Yang scratched his head at this point, completely unable to understand. What? Aren't the headsets that come with the company computers already pretty good? Bowie Kim then glared and said, what if, after work, there's an emergency and you need to talk to the music production company? Hurry up and pay for it. Ma Yang immediately took it, his face full of excitement, and said, yes, President Bowie. Seeing this, Bowie Kim finally let out a sigh of relief. The plan had succeeded. Hee. Lin Wan stood behind him, secretly thinking, President Bowie isn't buying anything? How strange. Suddenly, he noticed Lin Wan and asked her at the same time, hey, you there? Why aren't you buying anything? Lin Wan immediately smiled brightly and beautifully. President Bowie, I don't lack anything here. After hearing this, he frowned and thought to himself, damn it, a pampered young lady with mountains of money can do whatever she wants. You're really something. Then Bowie Kim began strolling around the mall. At this moment, he was secretly thinking, originally, the system funds had over 1,100,000 yuan. After all this spending, there's still 570,000 left. I'll have to spend the final 70,000 myself. Once I spend this 70,000 yuan, every extra yuan spent beyond this point can be converted into personal assets at a 1-to-1 ratio. He then walked into a rather high-end luxury store. On the other side, Lin Wan was still curiously following closely behind him, thinking, I wonder what President Bowie will buy. A while later, everyone was chatting with joyful, excited faces. Looks like you bought quite a lot, too. That's right. President Bowie is really good to us. A while later, our Bowie Kim walked out wearing and carrying a whole pile of excellent luxury items. A fountain pen for 7,299 yuan, a belt for 3,288 yuan, a business briefcase for 20,588 yuan, and a watch for 41,999 yuan. In total, he spent 73,174 yuan. He felt delighted inside and thought, finally, within the system's permitted range, I've managed to complete a loss of more than 3,000 yuan. On Lin Wan's side, her face showed extreme admiration. I never expected President Bowie to be such a frugal person. In total, he spent less than 100,000 yuan. Huang Sibo also said, everything President Bowie bought is work-related. They're all standard business items. Lin Wan immediately replied, exactly. President Bowie is so generous with work. Salaries, bonuses, and benefits are all given so freely. Yet when it comes to spending on himself, he's like this. It's so moving. Boo-hoo, he really is an angel boss. In reality, our Bowie Kim was secretly thinking, damn it all. After struggling so hard, I only managed to spend that much, but I only got back a little over 3,000 yuan. I've already bought everything the system allows. This is infuriating. Suddenly, he asked, Assistant Xian, I want to buy a gift for a friend who's also a boss. Do you have any suggestions? After hearing this, the group of female employees discussed among themselves. How about a luxury suit? What about men's cologne? Would a high-end watch work too? On this side, Bowie Kim sighed gloomily and thought, no. I've already bought everything painful that I'm allowed to buy. The system won't let me buy the remaining things. Suddenly, Lin Wan smiled brightly and said, how about giving him glasses? A nice pair of glasses can also enhance someone's bearing and show off their class. After hearing this, Bowie Kim raised his chin and thought, that's right. Where are the most expensive glasses? Assistant Xian immediately replied, I'll take you there. A little while later, he and the beautiful Assistant Xian walked out of the store. With intellectual-looking glasses as an accessory, he looked incredibly handsome and stylish. The authentic Gucci glasses cost 8,199 yuan, and he bought 2 pairs at once. Seeing this, all the employees applauded, their eyes sparkling like countless stars. Wow, President Bowie bought a pair of glasses for himself too? President Bowie looks so handsome. How much are those glasses? They must cost over 1,000, right? After hearing this, he smiled happily until his eyes narrowed. At the same time, he was secretly thinking, including these 2 pairs of glasses that cost over 8,000 each, I've finally managed to lose 20,000 yuan. Then he imagined himself as an astronaut stepping onto the moon. This is one small step for me, but one giant leap for the great cause of defeating the system. 2 days later, in Bowie Kim's room, he was sipping tea while opening the system panel to take a look. The system was currently carrying out settlement. Current system funds, 478,723 yuan, decreased by 21,276 yuan, converting into personal assets at a 1-to-1 ratio. Current personal assets, 21,884 yuan. After looking at it, he felt extremely delighted. The feeling of losing money is truly wonderful. I have to keep working hard. Let's see how much the next batch of funds will be. Then the system displayed. The next settlement will be in 90 days. The host's current funds have been replenished and are now 1 million yuan. At the same time, the host has received an additional special mission. Mission details. In the name of the company, Open a physical store in reality, choosing a bustling area or an area near university. Special mission completion reward. When converting profit and loss, receive an extra 10% on top of the basic amount. Our buoy Keem's eyes immediately shone after reading the mission. Damn, there's even an extra special mission? And this mission is exactly in line with my own intentions. This is simply perfect and easy to take advantage of, hee hee. After all, I clearly understand the trends of the next 10 years. As for real-world industries, they could be summed up in only 2 words: decline. Rent will rise, and storefront prices will also rise greatly. Online shopping systems will develop rapidly, and more people will prefer staying at home. But that's something from 10 years in the future. If I open a traditional store now, it might still make quite a bit of profit. Right now, I still have an important task to handle. That is, I have to think of a way to make sure the 2 obstacles in my path, Huang Sibo and Bao Su, are no longer in the company. Only then can I quickly become a billionaire. Hee hee. The next morning, at Bui Keem's company, a white-shirt, bespectacled man named Lu Mingliang suddenly spoke. Hey, Brother Huang, Brother Bao, take a look. There are lots of people online passionately discussing our game. Sea Fortress opens the era of charging 888 yuan? Is it sincere craftsmanship or a tumor in the gaming industry? What do they mean by saying that? Bao Su and Huang Sibo immediately replied, We know. We've been paying attention the whole time. Let them argue if they want. What does it have to do with us? His face glowing with great delight, Huang Sibo added, President Bui is truly brilliant. At the beginning, he used bullet marks to raise Sea Fortress's popularity. Then, through the 888 yuan price of the fire Qilin weapon, he continued maintaining that popularity. Bao Su also smiled and replied, I said it before. Everything is within President Bui's grasp. Exactly. I thought I was at level 5. Who would have expected President Bui to have already reached level 100? How could we possibly compare to President Bui's foresight? While they were chatting away, our Bui Keem suddenly walked over and said, Everyone, check the messages in the company group. I'm going to start a round of voting. This is a secret ballot. Everyone, please vote for the person you think is the best employee. There will be a secret reward. After hearing this, everyone immediately became excited. Long live President Bui. Then the beautiful assistant walked over holding some kind of box. At the same time, he was secretly thinking, with Huang Sibo and Bao Su here, the mission of making dang that company lose money will be much harder. Keeping these 2 around won't do, but directly firing them is impossible, and there's no reason to demote them either. As for Lin Wan, I'll keep observing her. After all, she could previously contact other players for testing because she once did that job at Heavenly Fire. A while later, Assistant Xian spoke. President Bui, everyone has finished voting. He replied, Okay, very good. Then he began looking at the voting results. In first place, Huang Sibo with 14 votes. In second place, Bao Su with 10 votes. In third place, Lin Wan with 3 votes. Lu Mingliang with 2 votes. Sure enough, just as I predicted. After that, Assistant XN opened an extremely grand, gleaming golden trophy. On it were the words, First Best Employee Award, Dangdat Technology Network Company, Limited. Then our Bui Keem picked it up and immediately handed it to blonde-haired Huang Sibo. You did very well. Congratulations. The young man was instantly utterly bewildered. Huh, it's me? Then everyone below applauded thunderously, congratulating our Huang Sibo. You're amazing. Congratulations. On this side, tears streamed down Huang Sibo's face as he choked up with emotion. Thank you all very much. Thank you for President Bui's trust and cultivation, and thank you all for always cooperating with and helping me. As for Sea Fortress's success, I feel the first credit belongs to President Bui for pointing us in the right direction. Next comes Brother Bao's inspiration, which soared freely like wind and clouds. Bao Su scratched his head and smiled, so much his eyes narrowed. Hee hee, you're flattering me too much. Huang Sibo continued. Finally, the credit belongs to all of us for our continuous hard work. This is the result of everyone's joint efforts. This trophy should belong to everyone. On Lin Wan's side, she also thought excitedly, isn't this exactly what a real company should be like? Sure enough, coming to Dangdat was absolutely the right choice. Then our Bui Kim raised both hands and said, okay, good. Next, I will give a special reward to the best employee. Huang Sibo, from today onward, you are no longer part of the design team. After hearing this, blonde-haired Huang Sibo was shocked out of his wits. Huh, am I hearing things? Everyone below also had the same expression. They had no idea what Bui Kim was trying to do. President Bui is joking, right? But his attitude doesn't really seem like it. Then Bui Kim raised his hand and said loudly, the position of execution planner will be handed over to Lu Mingliang. The young man on this side also froze for 5 seconds, completely unable to understand. Damn me, Huang Sibo's mouth fell open, his face dark as the bottom of a pot as he thought. What does this mean? Didn't I just receive the Best Employee Award? Why am I being fired on the spot? Then Bui Kim turned to Huang Sibo, patted him on the shoulder, and said, you are still an employee of Dangdat, but from now on, you will no longer work in the gaming industry. I've decided to give you a 1 million yuan dream fund. You can choose any industry you like, then invest 1 million yuan to realize that dream. Whether you succeed or fail, the company will bear everything for you. After hearing this, the young man's eyes shone brightly. Huh, am I hearing this right? 1 million yuan? This is unbelievable. Our Bui Kim was secretly thinking, yes, success. This is the best method I rack my brains to come up with. This is the top position elimination rule. I'm truly too clever, huh? Then Huang Sibo looked worried and said, President Bui, I'm afraid my abilities aren't enough. There's a very high chance I'll lose all this money. After hearing this, Bui Kim gave Huang Sibo's shoulder a heavy slap and said, I have great faith in you. You must have faith in yourself. The young man felt extremely conflicted, but he could only lower his head and accept it. Yes, President Bui, I will definitely work hard. Bui Kim also smiled with a gratified expression, but inside, he was thinking angrily, since you might have a talent for making games, then stop making games. You made me lose so much money. This is absolutely infuriating. On this side, everyone was cheering and congratulating Huang Sibo. As expected of Brother Huang, you're really amazing. Not at all. You're all praising me too much. Bui Kim was also secretly thinking, Huang Sibo has never done business before, so he will definitely lose this 1 million. Isn't this perfect for both sides? I really am a genius. Suddenly, Bui Kim spoke again. Next is the second reward. This reward will belong to Bao Su. When a young man heard this, he was filled with question marks and completely dumbfounded. Huh? What did President Bui say? Me? That's right. Although you only placed second, which is a pity, the company will not forget your contributions. At this moment, Bao Su was as happy as a child receiving a gift. Wow, President Bui is truly amazing. Then Bui Kim continued, as the person in second place, you will receive the chance to rest for 1 month with pay. Starting tomorrow, you don't need to come to work. Go somewhere else and have fun. This gift was too enormous. After hearing this, Bao Su's eyes rolled back in shock. Huh, if you tell me to go out and have fun, what can I even do? Won't I just keep sitting in internet cafes? And how could an internet cafe be as comfortable as the company? The young man then scratched his head, confused, and stammered, President Bui, I don't really need this reward. I think the company is very nice. After hearing this, Bui Kim walked toward Bao Su with an angry face and said firmly, game design is not something you can do blindly with your eyes closed. If you want to achieve something in the future, you must broaden your horizons. Do you understand? Yes, I understand. At the same time, Bui Kim added, in a moment, I'll have Assistant XIN arrange a travel itinerary for you. You must visit all the famous tourist attractions in the country, checking them off one by one, and also inspect and study the major domestic game companies to expand your knowledge. This is a work requirement. You cannot refuse. Understood. At this point, Bao Su's tears flowed like a spring as he replied, Yes, yes, President Bowie. After that, Bowie Kim turned and walked away saying, okay, good. This round of best employee evaluations ends here. Everyone go rest. Mayong, come to my office for a moment. Mayong was startled and replied, huh? Yes, yes. Brother. No, President Bowie. I understand. At the same time, Bowie Kim was secretly thinking, when Bao Su comes back a month later, the design draft for the new project will have long since been written. No matter how good Bao Su's creativity is, he won't be able to play any role. Hee. A while later, in President Bowie Kim's office, Mayong said, hey, Brother Kim, although you're my boss now, based on the brotherly bond between us, I have to sincerely give you some advice. You're letting Lu Mingliang take over Huang Sibo's work. I don't think that's appropriate. I don't think Lu Mingliang has any special abilities. If he could be the head planner, then I feel like I could do it too. After hearing this, Bowie Kim replied, come, let's drink tea together. Don't worry. With the brotherly bond between us, how could I treat you unfairly? The reason I haven't arranged any important position for you is because I have an even more important task I want to entrust to you. Next, there is a key development field that company will be moving toward. I'm preparing to let you handle it. What do you think? At this moment, Mayang's face became extremely delighted. Huh? Is that true? Then Bowie Kim immediately handed the images to Mayang and said, take a look. These places are prime business locations in Jingzhou. I'm considering choosing the best spot to open a large chain of internet cafes. I'm putting you fully in charge of this. What do you think? After hearing that, the young man broke out in a cold sweat and froze on the spot for several seconds. Brother Kim, the important position you mentioned, is being the boss of internet cafes. Our Bowie Kim immediately answered firmly, it's not just ordinary internet cafes. It will be a chain of internet cafes combining game experiences, hardware sales, movie watching, and other experiences into a large entertainment center. The goal of our Dangdat is to become the top company in games, entertainment, hardware, and so on. And this is one of our company's important steps forward. I wouldn't feel at ease in trusting such an important task to anyone else. It has to be you. As he spoke, he gave Mayong an extremely heavy pat on the shoulder. Over here, the silly young man Mayong felt incredibly surprised, then drained his cup of tea in one gulp. Mayong replied loudly and resolutely, okay, Brother Kim, don't worry, I'll definitely complete the mission. Our Bowie Kim answered with delight, then go do it. If you're short on talent, just recruit people. There's no budget limit. Then Mayong put the teacup down on the table and said, okay, Brother Kim, I'll go make the plan. Bowie Kim also added, don't forget the renovation standards for the stores. Use our company as the benchmark. You're not allowed to lower the standard. Understand? Mayong patted his chest loudly and replied, understood. Don't worry, Brother Kim. I'll handle everything. Then the young man walked out with determination and slammed the door shut. Over here, Bowie Kim smiled slyly and thought to himself, as expected, I can't rely on random outsiders. In the end, I still have to rely on my brothers. A major reason Sea Fortress failed was that I mistakenly trusted Huang Sibo and Bao Su. Right now, Huang Sibo has taken 1 million to do something else, while Bao Su has been forced by me to take a vacation. The game project has been handed to Lu Mingliang, and the Internet Cafe project has been handed to the blockhead Ma Yang to lead. During the next settlement, I'll definitely be able to lose 7 or 800,000 yuan. I really am cosmically intelligent. The scene shifts to Wednesday, February 3rd. In the meeting room of Dangdat Company, only a handful of members remained at this time. Haha, everyone was waiting for President Bowie Kim to speak first. Over here, Lu Mingliang had just been promoted to head of the company's planning department, and the pressure on him felt as heavy as a mountain. At the same time, he was secretly thinking, Brother Bao started his vacation yesterday. Brother Huang hasn't shown up recently either. Both of the big pillars are gone. I have to make this project. What if I mess it up? Boo-hoo. Suddenly, our Bowie Kim spoke. Hey, everyone. Regarding the new game, I already have an idea. This time, we're going to make a game that can go down in history. Its name will be the Game Maker. When Lin Wan heard this, she thought in alarm, huh, President Bowie wants to adapt Dang Dat's experience in the game industry into a game. But how can this subject be turned into a game? Then Bowie Kim continued. The content of the game is very simple. The player plays the role of a game maker. In the game, the player needs to make choices, and each choice will lead to different outcomes. For example, the player can freely choose the game genre, payment model, and promotional strategy. At the same time, the player will also encounter a series of unexpected incidents. In the end, the player will develop a game and see its profit and sales after it is released to the market. That's roughly it. If anyone has any questions, go ahead. After hearing this, Lu Mingliang and a female colleague stared at each other, utterly confused. Seeing that, our Bowie Kim laughed slyly in his heart, feeling extremely pleased. Ha, you're stumped now, right? Just as I predicted. No one has ever made this subject before, and the content isn't attractive either. There's only one gameplay style. This time, it's definitely going to crash and burn. Ha ha! Suddenly, Lu Mingliang raised his hand to speak. President Bowie, what form will this game take? Will it be similar to an independent story-driven adventure role-playing game? Over here, Bowie Kim hesitated for a moment, then replied, no, it won't. We have to make all the scenes in 3D. Everything will be top-tier 3D models. Whether it's characters or environments, use the best for me. At the same time, our Bowie Kim was smugly thinking to himself, how much money can a story-driven adventure role-playing game even spend? Even if the graphics are ruined and we hire a few famous voice actors for dubbing, that would only cost 2 or 300,000 yuan. Isn't that just a drop in the bucket? I have to spend more money if I want to get rich quickly. Hee. Lu Mingliang's eyes rolled back and his mouth fell open in shock. Huh, all assets in 3D? For this story-driven adventure role-playing game? Then Bowie Kim began putting on an act, holding his head and sighing as he said, why do you understand so little about story-driven adventure role-playing games? We have to use a more abstract and modern method to create this game. My idea is to make a three-dimensional flowchart map. The boxes on the flowchart map will be rooms, and each line in the flowchart will be a corridor. Each room will have a door leading to a corridor, representing the different choices of each player. The players walking through the corridors is the process of choosing branches in the flowchart, while the different rooms are the results created by those choices. After hearing this, the bespectacled young man was completely dumbfounded. What on earth is this? The more I listen, the more confusing it gets. What kind of game is this supposed to be? Using 3D models, creating so many large scenes, and in the end the player can only wander around? This is so stressful. Can I really make this? But whatever, he would write it down first and think about the rest later. At this time, Lin Wan raised her hand to speak. President Bowie, I think this design concept is quite novel, but if players are only walking around, won't they get bored? After hearing that, Bowie Kim lifted his chin and thought to himself, bored? Bored is good, isn't it? Hee. Ah, right, if it's only boring, I'm afraid it won't make players stop completely. Then an idea came to him, and he said, we can add narration to the game. Finding it strange, Lin Wan asked, narration? Bowie Kim replied, that's right. It's a way to communicate with the player. We'll use narration to communicate with them. For example, if they choose the wrong option, it triggers narration A. If they choose correctly, it triggers narration B. At this time, our Bowie Kim was imagining the character playing the game like this. The narration would say, very good. You followed my suggestion. Buying value-added services will make a fortune. Why refuse, right? But next, you'll have to face a new problem. Should you choose the VIP purchase or the ordinary package? Personally, I think you'd better choose the VIP package. If you choose the ordinary package to suit the public, why didn't you make it a one-time purchase from the beginning? The character immediately chooses the VIP package, and then the next narration appears. Oh, I knew it. Sure enough, you chose this. Between money and dreams, you chose money, right? Fine. No need to explain. I understand. It's only human nature. There are plenty of foolish people like you in this game. There's nothing new about that. The character would be completely unable to understand what was going on. Then Bowie Kim explained further, this way, every time a choice is made, there will be feedback, so the player won't feel lonely or bored anymore. After hearing this, Lin Wan looked at him with great admiration. Wow, so President Bowie has considered everything so thoroughly. President Bowie could even think of this, as expected of a genius designer. Then Bowie Kim gave his orders. Have the design draft ready in 3 days, finish the entire process within 1 week, and complete the art assets in 2 weeks. Any problems? Over here, Lu Mingliang said resolutely and loudly. Don't worry, President Bowie. I guarantee I'll complete the mission. Bowie Kim replied, okay, good. Then that's settled. Meeting adjourned. A while later, in President Bowie Kim's office, he lifted his teacup and said, how is it, Ma Yang? 3 days have passed. Have you chosen anything yet? Ma Yang immediately said in surprise, huh? Nothing yet. After hearing that, our Bowie Kim spat out his mouthful of tea on the spot. Then he thought slyly, as expected, impressive. Only my brother Ma Yang can make me worry less. If everyone were as muddle-headed as him, I would have emptied all of the system's money into my own pocket long ago. Then Ma Yang timidly raised his hand and said, Brother Kim, I think the main task right now is to find a suitable person to help me. As he spoke, the young man smiled brightly. Over here, our Bowie Kim lifted his chin and thought to himself, that's fine too, but Ma Yang is very easily manipulated by others. If he finds someone too smart, I'm screwed. Then Bowie Kim asked, so what kind of helper are you looking for? At this time, Ma Yang scratched his head and answered awkwardly, I found a talent on Top. I'm trying to use a large amount of money to get him to work for us. After hearing this, Bowie Kim thought, damn Top? That's a place full of braggers and loudmouths. There are plenty of sly people there too. Judging by probability, the chance of him finding someone pretending to be talented is very high. Then Bowie Kim replied, that sounds pretty good. Tell me more. Ma Yang answered excitedly, I think if we want to open internet cafes, the key point has to be the computers, right? These days, it must be hard to buy branded computers. If we want decent configurations, we can only hire someone to assemble them ourselves. The person I found is the owner of a graphics card group. He looks really cool and is pretty famous on Top too. After hearing this, Bowie Kim answered with delight, okay, no problem. Very good, very good. At the same time, he thought to himself, damn, just as I predicted. Those random top idols are all hot-blooded kids who are only good at running their mouths. A graphics card god? Just hearing that makes me want to laugh. Letting a top master come in to rebuild the computers means every computer in the internet cafe will cost 20 or 30,000 yuan. Excellent, excellent. Perfect. Then Bowie Kim set his teacup down on the table with a clack and said firmly, we must recruit this great master no matter what. Remember to treat him well and offer a higher price. Only if a master has plenty of money can he assemble good computers for us. At the same time, his heart was practically bouncing as he thought, great master, do your best. My money depends on your destructive talent. Ha ha ha. Then our Bowie Kim shot over to Ma Yang like a rocket and added, if you want to invite a hidden expert to come out of seclusion, how could you not give him a salary of 8,000 yuan a month? Hearing this, Ma Yang replied gloomily, Brother Kim, to be honest, my salary is only 5,000 yuan right now. Then our Bowie Kim put an arm around Ma Yang's shoulders and said with extreme slyness, how could I mistreat you? Once this mission is successfully completed, I'll raise your salary straight to the top and even give you commission. After hearing this, the young man was so delighted he was practically drooling. All right, don't worry. Even if I have to shed blood and crack my skull, I'll complete this mission. Brother Kim, I'll go do it right now. Then Ma Yang immediately ran out and slammed the door. Shut. Our Bowie Kim thought to himself, the game side is basically settled. With a top big shot carrying Ma Yang's side, there probably won't be a problem there either. Only Huang Sibo is left. I haven't seen him these past few days. How exactly is he planning to spend that 1 million? The scene shifts to February 8th. Suddenly, Lu Mingliang knocked on the door of Bowie Kim's office and said, "President Bowie. President Bowie. It's me, Mingliang." Bowie Kim invited him in. Lu Mingliang held a document in his hand and said, "The design draft for the game maker has been completed. Please take a look." Bowie Kim was looking at Olimi, and when he heard this, he answered in surprise, "That fast? Have you been working overtime until after 9 lately? Okay, sit down and talk." Mingliang walked in and replied, "It's just that I've felt full of ideas lately, and my efficiency has been very high. But I absolutely have not exceeded the overtime hours you stipulated." Then Bowie Kim took the design draft and replied, "Okay, well done. Your performance has been very good." At this time, our Bowie Kim thought to himself, "Last time, I couldn't understand the design draft, and a lot of little details were added. So the final product ended up completely different from my idea. This time, I must learn from that experience." Meanwhile, Lu Mingliang also thought, "I'm so nervous. I hope it won't all be rejected." A while later, our Bowie Kim spent the entire session forcing the bespectacled young man to explain every single detail thoroughly. "This part, and this part too. I think this should be changed. And this part as well." At this time, the young man broke into a cold sweat and thought, back then, when Brother Huang submitted the first design draft for Sea Fortress to President Bowie only skimmed it and made the decision right away. That proves Brother Huang's draft was perfect, and President Bowie felt very reassured. But my draft is still far inferior. President Bowie is worried I can't handle it. So he's helping me review the draft carefully and in detail, constantly asking questions and making revisions. This is really incredible. Then our Bowie Kim began closing his eyes, transforming into the character in the game and imagining the game from beginning to end. He walked through the corridors and entered each door to explore. Finally, he opened his eyes, his face dark as the bottom of a burnt pot, and thought, "What the hell? The entire process has no outstanding operations whatsoever, and there's no special interaction either. It feels like I'm just watching a movie. Just thinking about it already makes me bored to death." Then he handed the draft back to Lu Mingliang and said happily, "Okay, very good. Just make it according to this draft." Then Bowie Kim thought, "On top of that, there will be an NPC sticking close to the player and mocking them, making it impossible for the player to get immersed. They'll curse this thing to pieces for sure. If a lousy game like this doesn't lose money, I'll eat my fingernails." Ha ha. Thank you, everyone, for watching my video to the end. Please look forward to the next episode. If you enjoyed it, please help me with a channel subscription and a like so I'll have a huge amount of motivation. Thank you so much, my beloved viewers.